Lipscomb Bison's baseball is on the air. Good afternoon. This is Doc Allen coming to you live from beautiful Ken Dugan Field at Stephen Lee Marsh Stadium on the campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, as we get set to bring you college baseball action between Appalachian State University and the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Third game of a three-game series between these two teams. On Friday night, Appalachian State captured a 9-5 win in 11 innings. And on Saturday, the Bisons were victorious in a 4-2 win at Dugan Field. The visiting Mountaineers from Appalachian State University, part of the Sun Belt Conference, and they come into today's contest with a season record of 14 wins and 16 losses. They're 9-2 in Sun Belt play. The Bisons are from the Atlantic Sun Conference. They have a season record of 12 wins and 18 losses, 4-8 in Atlantic Sun Conference play. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the visiting Mountaineers from Appalachian State, leading off, third baseman, number 7, Peyton Idle. Batting second, second baseman, number 4, Luke Drumheller. Batting third, first baseman, number 28, Robbie Young. Batting fourth, left fielder, number 5, Kendall McGowan. Batting fifth, right fielder, number 19, Dalton Williams. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 35, Hayden Cross. Batting seventh, designated hitter, number 24, Trent Lewis. Batting eighth, center fielder, number 22, Alex Leshock. And batting ninth, shortstop, number 3, Bailey Welch. Getting the start on the mound for the Mountaineers will be the sophomore right-hander Noah Hall, number 16. Comes in with a season record of 5 wins, no losses, and an ERA of 3.15. This will be his 15th appearance on the season and the 4th game that he has started. Head coach for the Mountaineers is Kermit Smith. He's in his 5th season. He's assisted by Justin Aspergen, Britt Johnson, and Ryan Smoot. And now the starting lineup for the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Leading off, left fielder, number 55, Tiger Borum. Batting second, shortstop, number 6, Robbie Merced. Batting third, first baseman, number 44, Malik Williams. Batting fourth, designated hitter, number 30, Chris Bashler. Batting fifth, catcher, number 1, Chaz Bertolani. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 23, Ethan Stamps. Batting seventh, right fielder, number 13, David Graves. Batting eighth, center fielder, number 19, Maddox Houghton. And batting ninth, second baseman, number 2, Brian Moore. Getting the start on the mound for Lipscomb today, right-hander freshman Patrick Williams, number 31. Comes into the season with a 0-win, 1-loss record, an ERA of 9.0. Be his 10th appearance on the season and the 3rd game that he has started this season. Head coach for the Bisons is Jeff Forehand. He's in his 15th season as head coach. He's assisted by pitching coach Grayson Crawford, hitting coach Ryan Price, director of baseball operations Brian Ryman, volunteer assistant Will Hawks. The Bisons team manager is Kyle Kosman. The head groundskeeper is Colby Rawls, and the head baseball athletic trainer is Clint Woods. Our umpires for today's game, behind the plate will be Todd Henderson. At first base will be Chris Dykman, and at third base will be Matthew Barrett. And our weather right now at Ken Dugan Field is partly cloudy skies with some sunshine peeking in and out, 63 degrees, and the wind blowing out of the west-southwest between 2 and 5 miles per hour. Happy to be joined in the booth today by my colleague Spencer Bohm. Spencer, welcome back to the booth. And Game 3 at what's been an exciting series between these two teams. As we mentioned, played 11 innings Friday night. A back-and-forth pitchers duel yesterday, 4-2 affair, but it's been very evenly matched so far.
Absolutely. Glad to have a rubber match today between both of these squads. And I think yesterday the biggest thing that we saw was the pitching from Dylan Bierman. Now, obviously, you can't have him today, but 7 innings pitched, put up an incredible performance, and got a well-deserved standing ovation on his way off of the mound yesterday afternoon. But now you bring in Patrick Williams, whose ERA this season is a perfect 9. He's pitched only 12 innings, so not as much experience, and he's going up against Noah Hall, the right-hand pitcher for App State, with a 3.15 ERA this year and a 5-0 record. So going to be interesting to see how that plays into this afternoon.
Hall actually pitched in the game on Friday night. He got the win for the Mountaineers. He pitched 2 2/3 innings, did not allow a hit or a run, walked 3 and struck out 3. So he pitched very effectively on Friday night in that extra inning 9-5 win that App State took over the Bisons. We're going to step aside for a moment as we're going to perform our national anthem here at Dugan Field. We invite you to celebrate that with us as we get ready for baseball action between Lipscomb and App State. Here's our national anthem. Our national anthem is in the books, and we get set to bring you baseball action between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. We're glad you're with us here on YouTube Live. If you're in the area, still plenty of space to come on over to the ballpark and watch a great college baseball game. We're expecting good weather today, mostly cloudy skies as we mentioned. Chance for rain, but much later in the forecast. So hoping to get in Game 3 between these two teams. Appalachian State will be heading back home to host Charlotte on a Tuesday game, and then they'll be on the road next weekend at Troy. Lipscomb will host Belmont in a midweek game this Wednesday night. That'll be a 6 p.m. start, and then next weekend the Bisons are on the road at Kennesaw State, playing a 3-game series Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon.
And that series against Kennesaw State next weekend is going to be pivotal because this is a Bison's team with a 4-8 record in the ASUN. Obviously, you get a week off from conference action this weekend against App State, but they're going to need to at least go 2 out of 3 next weekend against Kennesaw State if they want to get a better foothold in this ASUN race.
So Patrick Williams takes the mound. He's a freshman out of Cleveland, Tennessee, 6'7", 199-pounder. He did have 4 appearances last year in the 2020 season, or correction, 5 appearances last year. He had 2 starts on the season, worked 13 1/3 innings. In this season, as we mentioned, this will be his 10th appearance. He started 2 games. He actually started the Bison's game at Pittsburgh this past Tuesday. He's worked a total of 12 innings, given up 12 hits, 14 runs, 12 of them earned, walked 12, and struck out 10. And Williams is going to come right at you. He's got the standard repertoire of a hard-throwing righty. 4-seam fastball, a curveball, and a changeup with that over-the-top arm slot. And so Williams draws the start today. Again, you mentioned, Spencer, that the Bisons got an outstanding start yesterday from Dylan Bierman. Bierman working 7 innings, giving up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, walked 2, struck out 3. And really one of the longest and most effective starts we've seen for the Bisons this season. Quentin Martinez got the start for App State. Actually was very effective as well. Went 5 innings. Did give up the 4 runs. And then Jason Kornatzer came in and pitched the last 3 innings of scoreless relief pitching. So 2 good pitching performances yesterday. And today it'll be Williams getting the start against Noah Hall. And we get set to bring you baseball action here from Ken Dugan Field. Leading off for the Mountaineers will be their third baseman, Peyton Idle. Idle comes in batting .224 on the season, 1 home run and 11 RBIs, and he is 3 for 8 in the series thus far. Was 1 for 2 yesterday, reached on a walk. We'll set the Bison's defense for you here in just a moment, but first the first pitch of the game from Patrick Williams. It's a fastball that he swings through for strike 1. So defensively for the Bisons, they've got Stamps at third today, Merced at short, Brian Moore at second, Malik Williams at first. The outfield left to right is Tiger Borman in left, Maddox Houghton in center, and David Graves in right. Chaz Bertolani behind the plate. And freshman right-hander Patrick Williams on the mound for the Bisons. That's a fastball on the inside corner, and quickly Williams has gotten ahead. No balls, 2 strikes to Peyton Idle. One of the keys, Spencer, to Bierman's effective start yesterday was getting ahead of hitters. He really went ahead. I think he only got to a 3-ball count on 2 hitters, so he worked ahead consistently. Here comes the 0-2. It's a curveball. Call strike 3. So Williams makes quick work of Idle, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Luke Drumheller. Drumheller comes in batting .291 on the season. 4 home runs and 26 RBIs. He did have a hit in yesterday's ball game. 1 for 3 yesterday with a couple of RBIs after going 0 for 6 on Friday night, and the hit that he had yesterday was a solo home run to straightaway center field in the first inning off of Bierman. He fouls that one off the end of the bat, 0-1. He hit that ball out to the deepest part of the ballpark, straight over the 400-foot sign in dead center field. And that was the first run of the day for the Mountaineers. They would not score again until the 8th inning, and they put 1 more on the board. And Lipscomb was able to push across a single run in the first and 3 in the 5th yesterday and come away with that 4-2 wins. Both pitchers were very effective early on. Here comes the 0-1. The breaking ball is going to stay high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dimensions here at Ken Dugan Field. It's 330 down the foul lines, 375 to the power alleys, and 400 to straightaway center field. This is a symmetric ballpark, so distances are consistent all the way around on both sides. Here comes the 1-1 from Williams to Drumheller. Swings and fouls it straight back, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes.
And meanwhile, your first 3 batters for Patrick Williams will all be lefties, all basemen. Third, second, and first consecutively for him. And your main RBI producer is coming up, Robbie Young. So if Williams can get Idle and Drumheller out here, he's already gotten Idle out. He's putting himself in a good position early on.
Yeah, 5 left-handed hitters in the lineup today for Coach Smith. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on and strike 3. Got him on a breaking ball. So Williams off to a strong start here. 2 strikeouts back-to-back, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Robbie Young. Young comes in as the leading hitter by average on the team, batting .302. He's got 3 home runs and 17 RBIs. And on the weekend, he's 4 for 9. He was 4 for 5 on Friday night, and then he went 0 for 4 yesterday. So, tale of 2 different games for Robbie Young, but a dangerous hitter, as you mentioned, Spencer, coming in batting .302.
And how about that for Patrick Williams? I'll continue that in a second.
Swung on and hit to center field. Houghton's coming on, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Patrick Williams. So nothing doing for the Mountaineers in the top half of the first inning. No score as we head to the bottom half of the first between Lipscomb and Appalachian State. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the first inning, and the right-hander Noah Hall is on the mound for Appalachian State. Hall, a 6-foot-tall, 175-pound sophomore out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He prepped at Providence High School. As we mentioned, he comes in today with a perfect record, 5 wins, no losses. One of those was the Friday night victory here over the Bisons. The ERA is 3.15. He's had 14 appearances. This will be his 4th start. 40 innings he's pitched, giving up 28 hits, 15 runs, 14 earned runs, 17 walks, and 44 strikeouts. So an excellent strikeout to walk ratio. Opposing batters batting just 197 against him, and he'll face Borum, Merced, and Williams to lead off the bottom of the first for the Bisons.
He's never registered a loss on the stat sheet in his career. Had a 2-0 record last year in brief time played, but did pitch in 20 innings. But same deal, had an ERA of 180, so a 2-0 record. He has the 2nd most appearances out of all pitchers on this squad this season at 14. Only Eli Ellington has more with 15 appearances.
So he's worked as both a starter and reliever. Here comes the 1-0. That's a fastball in the outside corner, 1-1. He was very effective, as we mentioned, on Friday night. Worked 2 2/3 innings, did not allow a hit or a run, walked 3 and struck out 3. Faced 10 batters and threw 44 pitches. So you'd have to think after throwing 44 pitches on Friday night that he's not going to be able to go deep into the ball game today, but we'll see how they play it. Here comes the 1-1. That's low and inside, and 2 balls and 1 strike to Borum. Tiger comes in batting .267 on the season, 1 home run, 15 RBIs. Batting in that leadoff spot today. On the weekend, he is 1 for 4. He's been on base several times via the walk, including yesterday where he had a pair of walks. Here comes the 2-1. Swung on, hit in the air behind the infield. Shortstop Welch still ranging over, and he's going to catch it in shallow left field for the first out of the inning. So Borum is retired, and that'll bring up shortstop Robbie Merced. Merced comes in batting .246, 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Yesterday, Robbie did have a base hit and scored a run. He's 1 for 5 on the weekend. Likewise, he was on base a couple of times Friday night via the walk. So Merced looking to continue a hot streak with the bat that he had been on leading up into this series. And so he'll bat with 1 out and bases empty. Bottom of the first inning, no score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. College baseball action, game 3 of this 3-game series.
It's a perfect matchup, too, for Hall because
grounded to third. Idle's going to glove it, throw to first, and he's going to retire Merced on 1 pitch.
Well, I was going to say, because nobody on this squad has been hitting at or over 300, or as of right now, nobody on the stat sheet for Lipscomb in the starting lineup has a batting percentage at or over 300. Chaz Bertolani is the closest one to that mark at 297. So a dangerous combo when you have Noah Hall with a 3.15 ERA.
So that'll bring up the first baseman Malik Williams. He'll bat with 2 outs and the bases empty. Malik batting .265 on the season, 1 home run and 11 RBIs. He did have a base hit in 4 trips yesterday with 3 RBIs. Drove in a couple of runners with a big double that he had in the Bison's rally to extend that lead to 4-1 yesterday. Starts him off with a fastball that's down and away, and that'll be ball 1. So Williams 1 for 4 yesterday after being 2 for 5 on Friday night. So he's 3 for 9 on the weekend, and it's got 5 RBIs to show for it. So Malik is having a good weekend so far here in this series. Here comes the 1-0 from Hall. Outside corner fastball, strike 1. Good location there. And again, Hall really came right at these hitters on Friday night. He showed that fastball, also showed a slider that he was working effectively on the corners, and his location was really good on Friday night, which made him very, very effective in that relief appearance that he had. Here comes the 1-1. That's a fastball going to stay outside. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. Chris Bachelor waits on deck if Williams is able to extend the inning here. Defensively for the Mountaineers, Idle is at third, Welch is at short, Drumheller at second, Young at first. The outfield is McGowan in left, Lashock in center, and Williams in right, and Cross is behind the plate. And that's a fastball on the outside corner for strike 2. So really good location there. He is painting that outside corner with that fastball, which shows some life to it. So it's a 2-2 count, 2 outs, bases empty for Malik Williams against right-hander Noah Hall. Swung on, hit back up the middle. Drumheller to his right, gloves it, pumps, throws, not in time. So he kind of double clutched, had a little bit of a hard time getting that one out of his glove. I believe that'll go as an infield base hit. It'll be the Bison's first hit of the day. So nice job by Drumheller to get to that ball on his backhand side, but he just seemed like he couldn't get it out of his glove, and he kind of pumped faked once and then threw and didn't get a lot on the throw. And by the time he did, Williams was able to cross first base.
That's why you like a good chopper, which is kind of what that was. Took its time to bounce out to second base, and by the time Drumheller picked it up, like you said, his momentum was kind of carrying him to the side. So he didn't really have time to throw it against Williams, and Williams was about 5-10 feet away from the plate. At that point, I knew he was going to make it, and sure enough, he did.
That brings up designated hitter Chris Bachelor. He is the leading RBI and home run hitter for the Bisons. .267 average, 5 homers and 26 RBIs, and he takes a curveball in there for strike 1. Chris yesterday was 0 for 4 after going 1 for 4 on Friday night, so he's 1 for 8 on the weekend. He did have a couple of RBIs in Friday night's game.
Yeah, he's their RBI machine, relatively speaking, leading the team with 26 on the season. Also has a bit of a penchant for home runs, 5 dingers this year.
Swung on and hit on the ground to shortstop Welch. He's going to flip to second, almost throws it away, but he does get the force out there for the 3rd out in the inning. So nothing doing for the Bisons. They have 1 hit and strand a runner, and we've played 1 full inning, no score between Lipscomb and Appalachian State. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the second inning. No score between Lipscomb and Appalachian State, and right-hander Patrick Williams is back out on the mound. He had a 1-2-3 first inning with a couple of strikeouts, and he'll be facing 4, 5, and 6 for the Mountaineers, McGowan, Williams, and Cross. McGowan will start it off. He's batting .269 on the season, 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. And on the weekend, he's 1 out of 8. He has scored 3 runs, been on base with a couple of walks. So McGowan facing off against Patrick Williams here for the top of the second inning. Swung on and tapped foul. That was an off-speed pitch. He gets ahead of him. No balls, 1 strike. So again, Williams doing an excellent job getting ahead of these pitchers, really filling up the strike zone, going right at them, which I know the Bisons would like to see. Again, they did use 6 pitchers on Friday night and used 4 yesterday. So the bullpen probably stretched a bit thin today. They're down a few pitchers with injuries. And so I know the coach forehand would like to see a strong start from Patrick Williams.
Definitely a veteran presence and also an effective player in high school, too. His batting average was .410 during his senior year. He had 6 triples, 8 doubles, scored 41 runs, and had 39 RBIs as well. So, and been with this program for a while and got extra eligibility due to the shortened 2020 season.
That one misses downstairs, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike now against Kendall McGowan. And Mount McGowan, a 5'11", 195-pound senior out of Forest City, North Carolina, from East Rutherford High School. And we'll await the 2-1 offering from Patrick Williams. Swung on and hit towards short. Merced makes an attempt at it, but it goes off his glove, and I believe they'll probably score that a base hit. The ball was hit pretty hard. We'll wait for the official score on that one. Merced moved to his left, but really didn't get much of a glove on it, and that is going to be a base hit. So first base hit of the day, and that'll put McGowan aboard at first base. And it'll bring up right fielder Dalton Williams. Williams comes in batting just .111. He's only had 27 at-bats. He's got 3 hits and 27 trips, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs.
Yeah, McGowan placed that one perfectly because it was just barely out of Merced's reach, and by the time he was able to get it, his glove just wasn't in position, so it went back from him. So that's what you like to see if you're App State, especially if Williams can have a good game today like we saw in the top of the first.
That misses high, so it's 1 ball and no strikes. Dalton Williams only 1 at-bat on the weekend. He came in and had a pinch hit appearance yesterday, was 0 for 1 on the day. App State and Lipscomb swung on and hit foul, straight back out of play. That'll even the count at a ball and a strike. So on the season, the Mountaineers 31 stolen bases out of 36 attempts. They're batting .244 as a team. Team ERA of 6.60, and opposing batters are batting .267 against the Mountaineers. Bison's pitchers with an ERA of 6.11, opposing hitters batting .279 against them on the season. So we got a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Williams, and he awaits from Patrick Williams, but instead the throw will go to first, and they'll chase McGowan back there. So Williams on the mound, Williams at the plate.
And McGowan is 4 for 4 this season on stolen bases. So I think they're trying to keep an eye on that, make sure he doesn't try and run.
Not going. Swung on and hit in the air to the left side. It is going to be in foul territory. Merced's actually going to catch it a step into fair territory there. So Dalton Williams is going to be retired for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the catcher Hayden Cross. Cross, a junior, batting .264, no home runs and 5 RBIs on the season. He played in Friday night's game, was 1 for 4 with an RBI, and then came in and had 1 at-bat yesterday. Carson Arnold did most of the catching, but Cross came in, got an at-bat, and was retired. So he's 1 for 5 on the weekend, and he'll stand in and bat with a runner on first, 1 out. Third baseman Stamps is a step or 2 in front of the bag at third. Double play depth up the middle. And again, they're going to chase McGowan back over there. As you mentioned, Spencer, he's a threat to run. Outfield is somewhat shallow in center field, but left and right are in fairly normal position. The wind's died down at the moment here. So we'll see how the Mountaineers opt to play this one. Throw's going to go back to first. Almost got away. Williams came off the bag, Malik Williams, and gloved that one. So still awaiting the first pitch of the at-bat to Cross from Patrick Williams.
And Cross, his plan major is applied physics, wants to become an engineer. So, you know, this man doesn't live an easy life. I've never understood the athletes who also major in engineering, as I'm sure you have some familiarity with.
Yeah, that's a tough combination. So you got to tip your hat to anybody who can be a full-time Division I athlete and also carry that load in engineering. That ball missed high. It was a fastball, so it's 1 ball and no strikes to Hayden Cross. Trent Lewis waits on deck. Again, decent-sized lead from McGowan at first. He's not running. Swung through that one. Looked like an off-speed pitch, and he was in front of it, so that'll even the count at a ball and a strike on Hayden Cross. This App State team, we mentioned a veteran team, all of their position players back except for one from last year's team. So a veteran lineup that's played a lot of baseball. I believe that they only lost one of their pitchers who contributed significant innings, and he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, I believe. So a veteran team for Coach Kermit Smith coming back in for this 2021 season, and they are 6-3 in the Sun Belt Conference, so they're off to a good start in conference play. They're 14-16 overall. We await the 1-1 pitch from Patrick Williams to Hayden Cross. It swung on and hit in the air, shallow left field. Borum actually takes a step back. Now it's going to come in a step or two, and he's going to glove that for the second out of the inning. So 2 big outs in a row for Patrick Williams after surrendering the leadoff base hit. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Trent Lewis. Lewis, a freshman, batting just 156 on the season. He's only had 32 at-bats, 5 hits, no home runs, and 2 RBIs. And we have not seen him in action this weekend yet, so this is his first action of the weekend for Trent Lewis.
Yeah, just 6 starts this year, 19 games played, just a couple of RBIs. So perhaps they're trying to give him some extra work and get him more comfortable because he hasn't really come into his own yet this year. As you may have mentioned, just a 156 batting average, so
always tough when you're not playing in the lineup every day. It's hard as a hitter, obviously, to develop that rhythm, and so it's tough to go a few games between at-bats, but as you mentioned, a chance for the freshman to stand in there and swing. He looked at that one for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes here. And that's a curveball that's going to get in there for a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Trent Lewis. The center fielder, LeShock, waits on deck if Lewis is able to extend the inning. There's softball going on next door at the Draper Diamond, Game 3 of a 3-game series between Lipscomb and Liberty. And Liberty is leading 3-0 in the top of the 6th inning after Liberty took both games of a doubleheader yesterday from the Bisons. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, swung on and hit foul. That'll make the count a ball and 2 strikes. That was a fastball, and he was sitting right on that one.
And that's a Lipscomb team that's trying to find its stride late in the season because, you know, ASUN tournament is coming up, and 2 years ago made it to the NCAA tournament for, I believe, the 3rd time in program history. So, but they have struggled this weekend. Got shut out in both games yesterday against Liberty and currently getting shut out right now. So
Liberty with an excellent. They're 26-12 on the season, 7-2 in the conference. So a tough opponent in both baseball and softball. He's running, but it's not going to matter because Patrick Williams is going to get his 3rd strikeout on a call, strike 3. So big strikeout there for Williams. Nothing doing after the leadoff hit. They strand 1 runner, and we're in the middle of the 2nd inning. Still no score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the 2nd inning. No score for Appalachian State or Lipscomb, and due up for the Bisons will be 5, 6, and 7. Chaz Bertolani, Ethan Stamps, and David Graves to face right-hander Noah Hall. Hall threw just 12 pitches in the 1st inning. We mentioned something to keep an eye on since he threw 44 on Friday night. And he'll start off with the Bisons catcher, Chaz Bertolani. Bertolani comes in batting .297, tops on the team, 1 home run and 25 RBIs. Was 1 for 2 in yesterday's game after going 0 for 3 on Friday night. Did have a couple of walks in both of those games to get on base. So Bertolani gets ready for the first offering from Noah Hall. And it's a fastball that's going to stay high for ball 1. Bertolani, one of 4 Bisons selected to the Atlantic Sun Conference All-Conference preseason team. And he's had an excellent campaign for his sophomore season, following up a good freshman year and a very solid start on last year's abbreviated 2020 campaign. That's a curveball that hits the outside corner. It's going to be a ball and a strike on Bertolani. Bertolani earlier in the season had an 8-game hit streak and had 14 games in a row where he reached base. So he's been a very consistent presence here in the middle of the lineup. Swung on and hit towards third, gloved by Idle. He's going to throw to first, and he's going to retire Bertolani for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up third baseman Ethan Stamps getting the start today. First action of the weekend. Stamps is batting .273. He only has 22 at-bats on the season, but has 6 hits, no homers, and 2 RBIs for the true freshman Ethan Stamps. He's a 5'9", 215-pounder out of Madison, Georgia. Went to Morgan County High School, and so getting his first action of the weekend today at third base. If you're accustomed to watching the Bisons, you will notice the absence of their outstanding senior second baseman Haddon Adams. He hasn't played at all this weekend after being injured in that Tuesday game at Pittsburgh. Stamps hits this one hard towards deep left center field. It's going back toward the wall and off the wall. Stamps is going to round first and is going to head towards second, and he's going to be in there with a stand-up double. So Ethan Stamps sees the first pitch and hits it all the way to the wall in left center field.
Well, how about that? You go through your batting lineup, your second freshman, and one of only 2 freshmen on the lineup today, getting it done for Lipscomb. Now you'll bring up your 7 and 8 hitters, David Graves and Maddox Houghton, so you do wish you could have Borum and Merced out there to come out and bat, but that's a great way to get the momentum going because this Lipscomb team, we know that they've struggled with batting averages, nobody hitting 300 or more on the starting lineup, and having the absence of Haddon Adams as well. So great way to get things started.
So Stamps is on at second base with a leadoff double, and that brings up David Graves. David is just getting his 17th at-bat of the season. He's got 2 hits, no homers, and 1 RBI. He gets to start today in right field. And we'll see how the Bisons elect to play it here. Stamps running at second, third baseman back deep. And Graves checks a swing and takes a slider on the outside corner for strike 1. So defensively, interesting alignment here. The third baseman, first baseman well back. Certainly would surrender a bunt. I believe Graves could easily drop a bunt and get aboard. Shortstop and second baseman are playing back in fairly normal depth as well. So Graves were able to push a bunt down. He would have an excellent opportunity to get on. They go to second on a pickoff. Ball gets into center field, and that's going to allow Ethan Stamps to go all the way to third base. So a timing pickoff play there. Second baseman Drumheller came over and could not glove that one. And so that'll go as an error and allow Stamps to reach third base.
Yeah, I think the pickoff throw might have been a little bit low. I saw it go down towards Stamps' feet, and then over at second base, Drumheller just struggled to pick it up, and it's kind of a costly mistake.
So Graves with a chance to drive in a run now, and the third baseman and first baseman will actually come in and play almost even with the bag. Back of the infield is going to surrender an RBI, and Graves swings through that one, and he's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. So yeah, one of those timing pickoff plays where Hall spun around through the ball. It was down low, got a bit tangled up in the legs of the runner Stamps. And the next thing you know, the ball was into center field, and that allowed Stamps to advance to third base. So he's standing at third with 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Graves swings through another one there and goes down on strikes. First strikeout of the day for Noah Hall, and it's a big one because that's the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up center fielder Maddox Houghton. Houghton comes in batting .208 on the season, 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. Maddox had 1 hit in 2 trips yesterday after going 0 for 4 on Friday night, so he would love to have a chance to put something in play here and drive the run home. The Bisons getting that leadoff double and have gotten Stamps to third base now with 2 outs, or correction, double with 1 out. It was a 1-out double. Houghton sees that one. It pops out of the glove of Cross. It's going to be a ball and doesn't get away far enough to allow Stamps to advance from third base. Lipscomb stranded 7 on the base paths, or correction, 6 on the base paths yesterday. after stranding a similar number on Friday night. So it's been a challenge getting those runs across the plate this weekend for the Bisons. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Maddox Houghton. That's a breaking ball that's going to stay low as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Brian Moore would be next. As we were mentioning earlier, the Bisons' fine second baseman Haddon Adams, preseason Atlantic Sun Conference Player of the Year. He was injured on Tuesday's game at Pittsburgh, and he has not been in the lineup all weekend. So Brian Moore has moved over to cover second base after playing third base much of the season. And third base has either been played by Carter Smith or today Ethan Stamps for the Bisons. Here comes the 2-0, and that's all the slider over the outside corner, 2-1. Good pitch there from Hall. Down in the count, but he's not surrendering to Houghton. He throws that slider, and it catches the outside corner. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and Houghton's a smart person as well. University of Georgia Merit Scholar, Furman University Scholar. He also won the Advanced World Literature Award after high school.
That fastball is going to stay high and away, so he's now ahead 3-1 on the count. Again, we mentioned Brian Moore would be next if Houghton is able to extend the inning. And this inning, Hall has run into a little bit of trouble after a fairly uneventful first inning. And he's going to bring a 3-1 pitch to Maddox Houghton here with 2 outs and a runner at third. Fastball misses low, so ball 4. So Houghton's going to be aboard, and that'll bring Brian Moore to the plate. Brian batting .250 on the season, 1 home run and 9 RBIs. He's 2 for 7 on the weekend, has scored a run. And he'll bat now with runners on the corners and 2 outs. So Houghton, your runner at first. Stamps, your runner at third. And Maddox Houghton does have 4 steals and 5 attempts on the season. We'll see if the Bisons elect to try to get something going here in the bottom half of the second inning. Again, no score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb, but the Bisons are threatening with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Top of the order, Tiger Borum is on deck if Moore can extend the inning. Moore swings and hits this one in the air to center field. Leshock is camped out under it, and he gloves it for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons will get a hit, and they strand 2 runners. They've stranded 3 through the first 2 innings. But we have no score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb heading to the top of the 3rd inning. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the 3rd inning. No score between Lipscomb and Appalachian State. Right-hander Patrick Williams back out for his 3rd inning of work. He's been very good so far. 2 innings of work, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. He'll face 8, 9, and 1 for the Mountaineers. Leshock, Welch, and Peyton Idle at the top of the order here. Bisons have 2 hits. The Mountaineers have 1. Nobody's pushed across a run as of yet. So Leshock will bat. He's batting .287 on the season, 1 home run and 14 RBIs. He is 2 for 7 on the weekend and has scored a run, has an RBI. So he'll lead things off here for Coach Kermit Smith and the Mountaineers in the top of the 3rd inning against right-hander Patrick Williams. And he starts him off with a slider on the outside corner for strike 1.
Yeah, App State has a good bottom of the order as well. Their 8 and 9 hitter, you mentioned Leshock with .287. Bailey Welch coming up is .278. So really the middle of the batting order, kind of the lower middle, is the weakest spot for App State.
Swung on and hit foul, and Williams is quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. That was a fastball there. Yes, Leshock and Welch both with really good at-bats. Welch particularly has had several at-bats where he's fouled balls, foul balls, foul balls, and really extended those at-bats. So both of those hitters are seniors, and that veteran presence at the bottom of the lineup for Coach Smith is something that he, I'm sure, likes to see, with a chance to turn his lineup over and put some pressure on the defense. Here comes the 0-2 from Patrick Williams. Curveball, tap back towards the mound. Williams is going to glove it. He's going to run over and toss it to Malik Williams. And Williams to Williams will record out number 1. That'll bring up Bailey Welch, as we mentioned. He's a senior batting .278, 1 home run and 14 RBIs on the season. On the weekend, he's 1 for 8. He went 1 for 3 yesterday with a walk and scored a run. But as I mentioned, he grinded out several really good at-bats where he extended the at-bat, fouled off a number of pitches. So he's a young man that sees the ball and gets his swings up there. He actually has an on-base percentage of .412, which tells you that he sees a lot of pitches. He's walked 17 times with 90 at-bats. And he starts him off with a curveball that misses outside, ball 1. Defense fairly straight away. No real shift on at this point, although we're starting to see more and more of those shifts here in college baseball. But the Bisons are playing Welch pretty much straight up at this point. The 1-0. That's like a fastball that catches the inside corner, and it's a ball and a strike. Top of the order, Idle would be next. Again, we're playing in the top of the 3rd inning and have no score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. Right-hander Patrick Williams on the mound. Very effective so far for the Bisons, getting ahead of hitters. Excellent control, throwing his fastball and his curveball. And we've seen a change-up as well. And here comes the 1-1. Fastball hit in the air, foul. That's going to get out of play, and that'll make the count a ball and 2 strikes to Bailey Welch. We'll catch you up on some scores from around the Atlantic Sun Conference, as well as area teams and top 25 teams as we get through the afternoon here. There's a lot of college baseball being played today. Big weekend with a lot of top 25 series and several Atlantic Sun Conference teams in play, although several of them, like Lipscomb, are playing out of conference as well. Here comes the 1-2. Curveball hit in the air, foul down the left side. He was in front of that one, hit it a long way, and it lands in the Bison's bullpen. The count will remain a ball and 2 strikes. Again, we mentioned the next home action for the Bisons will be Wednesday, the 21st of April. They're going to host Belmont here with a 6 p.m. start. No midweek game on Tuesday this week. Instead, they'll play Wednesday, and then 3 games at Kennesaw State next weekend. Friday night at 6, Saturday at 2 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. Curveball hit towards third base, and that's going to get through Stamps. Hard hit ball, and that's going to allow Bailey Welch to reach. He makes a big turn at first. Ball gets away, but he's going to have to retreat back. So we'll see how they score that. Ball was hit well. We'll wait for the official score on that one.
That's the second time we've seen the ball get past the infield as well. Yeah, the previous one where Merced couldn't glove it when it was going straight up the field into the outfield. Shortstop let it go past him, and then this time just kind of bounces right off of Stamps there.
And they have scored that an error, so that'll put Welch aboard with 1 out. Back to the top of the order, Peyton Idle. He was called out on strikes back in the first inning against Patrick Williams. And for those of you watching at home, 4 out of 4 steals on the season for Bailey Welch, so he is definitely a threat to one. He's got a very generous lead, I would say, at first base. He is not going, and a fastball is hit in the air towards shallow center field. Actually, Merced is now drifting back, and he's going to catch it in left center field. So that'll be a second out of the inning. So first pitch swinging for Idle. He's going to pop out to Merced, and that'll be 2 down now for Luke Drumheller. Drumheller also was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. We mentioned that he had the solo home run yesterday off Dylan Bierman in the first inning. That's his only hit of the weekend. He's 1 out of 9 and now 1 out of 10 after his first at-bat today. So he's struggled a bit, but certainly showed some pop on the ball he hit out to straightaway center field yesterday in the first inning of the game. So he bats now with 2 outs. Bailey Welch, your runner at first. And we're in the top of the 3rd inning. No score between Lipscomb and Appalachian State. Swings through a curveball there, nothing in 1. So again, good job by Patrick Williams. He's getting ahead of these hitters, Spencer, and you can see him mixing up his speeds and his location really effectively so far.
Yeah, I was just about to compliment him. He's doing a great job with his ball placement and just having a strong showing today after struggling a little bit this season. So really the pitching the last 2 days now for Lipscomb has been on par with what you would expect to see from them.
I know the coaching staff's very high on this talented freshman right-hander. He's got a ton of upside. Again, a 6'7", 199-pound freshman and with a very live arm. So it's good to see him with a strong start today. He's ahead of Luke Drumheller, no balls and 1 strike.
And I think this is the most that you may see of him all season as well. I talked about earlier, only 12 innings played coming into today.
Times called at the plate. Drumheller doing what batters sometimes do and trying to disrupt the rhythm a little bit. When you see pitchers getting in that rhythm and they're really throwing the ball effectively, sometimes the batters like to step out and see if they can break that rhythm a bit. A bit of a shift on defensively. Shortstop Merced has swung almost up the middle. Stamps is far off the line at third as well. Runners going, swung on and hit towards Merced, past him. That's going to get into left field. Houghton is going to come over and cut it off. Welch is going to go all the way to third. And the Mountaineers are going to have runners on the corners with 2 outs.
We're really starting to see the Mountaineers kind of victimize that mid to left side of the infield. Merced and Stamps both kind of vulnerable right now.
That ball was hit just where Merced couldn't get to it, and as we mentioned, he was shifted over, but just not quite far enough to get that. So it's the second Mountaineers hit of the day, and that'll bring up first baseman Robbie Young. Runners on the corners now with 2 outs. Young was the third out of the first inning as he flew out to center fielder Maddox Houghton. So he'll bat now with runners on the corners. Welch was running on that play, so he easily made it to third base as the ball was brought back in. And we'll see how Williams elects to pitch to Robbie Young. That's curveball in there for a strike 1. So excellent pitch executed there.
Yeah,
again, defense, sorry, with a similar shift. Merced swung up toward the middle and the second baseman Moore over toward the hole. Fairly similar alignment to what we saw for the last hitter. As you mentioned earlier today, Spencer, 5 left-handed hitters in the lineup today for App State. Comes the 0-1. That's a breaking ball, stays downstairs. Ball and a strike. At first base, Drumheller's 3 out of 4 on steals for the season. So good speed on the base path. Welch running at third, Drumheller running at first. 2 outs. Top of the third inning. No score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb, but the Mountaineers threatening here. Swung on and hit towards Malik Williams. He's going to glove it and record the 3rd out of the inning. So big out there from Patrick Williams, and he's going to strand 2 more Mountaineer runners. That's 3 stranded on the day. And we'll head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. No score between Lipscomb and Appalachian State. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the home half of the 3rd inning. The Bisons will send the top of the order. Borum, Merced, and Williams up against right-hander Noah Hall. Hall's been very effective so far today. 2 innings, giving up just 2 hits, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. And we're scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 3rd between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. And those of you tuning in may get a little confused on the color scheme today. The homestanding Bisons are in their purple jerseys with the gold lettering and gold numerals, the purple cap with the gold L on it, white pants, but Appalachian State with a gold top as well. Black numerals and letters, the gray pants, and a black hat with the gold A on it. That's a breaking ball that's going to miss inside for ball 1 against Tiger Borum. Borum was retired on a pop-up caught by the shortstop Welch back in the first inning, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. Came in batting .267 on the season for the freshman outfielder Tiger Borum.
Yeah, of course, yesterday we saw Lipscomb sporting the teal jerseys.
That's a fastball is going to miss down and in. Yes, teal jerseys is a fundraiser for sexual assault awareness, and those were auctioned off. And I don't know if that auction is still open or not, but you could go to lipscombsports.com and see if there's any information there. First time I've seen the teal jerseys in the past couple of seasons, but a special jersey that was being worn by, I believe, softball also over the course of the next week or so as a fundraiser and awareness for sexual assault and Title IX efforts here on the Lipscomb campus. We await the 2-0 pitch from Noah Hall to Tiger Borum. Swung on and hit high in the air towards the left side. Again, Welch is drifting back into shallow left field. He is going to catch it there, and then he's going to fall down as the left fielder McGowan was there to provide backup if he needed it. So for the second time today, Borum has popped out to the shortstop Welch. That'll bring up Robbie Merced. Merced grounded out to the third baseman Idle back in the first inning. Again, comes in batting .246 on the season, 2 homers and 7 RBIs for Robbie. He is a sophomore, 6'1", 177-pounder out of Springfield, Missouri. Played a season at Fort Scott Community College before coming here to Nashville, to the Bisons. Done a fine defensive job anchoring the shortstop position for Coach Forehand. And he's going to look at a breaking ball for strike 1. So Hall doing a good job as well. Just like Patrick Williams, he's getting ahead of these hitters, mixing up speeds and location. It's pitched very effectively so far. And another breaking ball in there for strike 2. Beauty. He's showing 2 different speeds on the breaking ball here. That slider that he's throwing on the outside corner, and that may be either a slower version of it or a curveball, but he's located 2 in a row against Merced, and he has him down in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Throws one there that's going to miss downstairs, so 1 ball and 2 strikes. First baseman Malik Williams is awaiting on deck. Again, game 3 of the series between these two teams. Appalachian State won Friday night 9-5 in 11 innings, and Lipscomb came back and won 4-2 on Saturday behind the dominant pitching performance from right-hander Dylan Bierman. Here comes the 1-2 to Merced. Just off the plate outside, 2-2. Not seeing any activity in the Mountaineers bullpen. We mentioned again that Hall did throw on Friday night through 44 pitches in that game, so you'd have to think that he's been some kind of a pitch count today, but they'll see how far that they can take Noah Hall, the outstanding sophomore right-hander here. Here comes the 2-2 to Merced. That's a fastball that's going to miss low, and it's 3-2.
And this is some well-timed non-conference play for Lipscomb because you play 2 games against the 17th ranked team in the country at Pittsburgh, and then you host App State, which is 9-2 in the Sun Belt, so nothing to sneeze at this year. Gives them a chance to kind of warm up before going back into conference play.
We await the payoff pitch, a full count here to Robbie Merced. 1 out, nobody on. Swings and hits it right towards second base, and Drumheller is going to glove that for the 2nd out of the inning. So Merced hit it well, but hit it right at the second baseman Drumheller, and that'll be 2 outs, and Malik Williams will come to the plate. Malik reached on a single back up the middle in the first inning. He's now 4 for 10 on the series for the weekend, so good to see Malik heating up. He's up to 265 on the batting average coming in, 1 home run and 11 RBIs. And one of the things Malik has done recently is use that right side of the field, so the defense is respecting that, and in a fairly traditional alignment, he swings and fouls off a breaking pitch, no balls and 1 strike.
I feel like he swung a little bit late on that pitch there.
Yeah, he was fooled by it. I will say that Malik, both Friday night and yesterday, absolutely hammered fastballs down the left field line. He had a double yesterday and also one on Friday night, and those were absolutely crushed down the left field line. So I'm sure that has not escaped the notice of Appalachian State's coaching staff, and he swings and hits this one high in the air but foul. That's going to make the parking lot, and that'll make the count no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, you got to park strategically around here, which I did. You got a softball game and a baseball game going on simultaneously, so watch out where you park on Saturdays and Sundays in particular on Lipscomb's campus.
We await the 0-2 pitch from Noah Hall to Malik Williams. And he checks his swing and fouls the fastball straight back. That'll keep the count no balls and 2 strikes. That one was high and on the outside part, but he was able to foul it off and stay alive at 0-2. Good crowd on hand for a Sunday afternoon action here. And again, if you're in the area, come on out. Still a lot of baseball to be played between Lipscomb and Appalachian State. Another good ball game between these two. Here comes the 0-2 to Williams. Fastball, call strike 3.
Wow, great pitching there.
Excellent location. That'll be the second strikeout of the day for Hall, and nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom of the third. So we've played 3 full innings, and there's no score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top of the 4th inning. No score between Appalachian State and Lipscomb. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for each club on the afternoon. And right-hander Patrick Williams back out on the mound. He'll be facing 4, 5, and 6 for the Mountaineers. That's McGowan, Williams, and Cross. And Patrick Williams has pitched very effectively so far. 3 innings, just 2 hits. Hasn't walked anyone and has 3 strikeouts on the day. So McGowan got the first hit for the Mountaineers. He singled back in the 2nd inning, and he'll bat here to lead things off in the 4th. And he looks at a fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. So really excellent job today by Patrick Williams. He's gotten ahead of hitters. He's pitched, again, very effectively to both sides of the plate, and he's just kept the count in his favor throughout. So he's doing exactly what Coach Forehand would want him to do here this afternoon with his start. And that's a breaking ball that's going to get outside. It'll be a ball and a strike. 2 for 9 on the weekend from McGowan in the series. Here comes the 1-1 from Williams. Curveball in there for a strike, so 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I think it's really deceptive to pick up that curveball, Spencer, with that over-the-top arm slot that Patrick Williams uses. It really does a nice job with the same arm slot, breaking ball and fastball, and the hitters seem to be having a little trouble picking up the spin. He's really frozen them on some of those curveballs. Here comes the 1-2. That's a curveball downstairs, 2-2. Swung on and hit over the third baseman stance. That's going to go down the line. Tiger Borum's running over to cut it off. It's going to get all the way to the wall. And McGowan is going to cruise all the way to second with a stand-up double.
Well, McGowan's having a good day today. He's now 2 for 2. Went to first base last time around, or I should say back in the 2nd inning, and now he's got a double to his name. And once again, the left side of the diamond today seems to be the best area for App State hitters to go.
So that's 3rd hit on the day for the Mountaineers. So that'll put the leadoff man at second, and that'll bring up Dalton Williams, the right fielder. He was retired via a pop-out back in the 2nd inning. Again, Williams with just 27 at-bats on the season. 3 hits on those 27 at-bats coming into today's action as he's getting the start in right field. Did have a pinch hit appearance in yesterday's game, and he is swinging and hits it on the ground towards Malik Williams. That's going to get the runner over to third base. but it will retire Williams for the first out of the inning. So he does his job, advancing McGowan all the way to third base now, where he'll stand for Hayden Cross. Cross, the catcher, flew out to left fielder Tiger Borum back in the second inning. Again, Cross had the afternoon off yesterday, did make one pinch hit appearance, did not have a hit. He was 1 for 4 with an RBI on Friday night's game. So one of 5 left-handed hitters in the lineup today for Coach Kermit Smith and Appalachian State. The Bisons just with 1 lefty in the lineup today against the right-hander. And a curveball's in there for strike 1. So again, Williams doing a great job getting ahead of these hitters. He's really pitched very effectively here now in his 4th inning of work. Infield is in on the corner. Stamps is even with or a step in front of the bag at third. Malik Williams also even with the bag at first. Infield's Dak deep in the middle, so they'll concede the run on a ground ball deep to the middle of the infield. Here comes the 0-1. That's going to bounce up there. Gets away from Bertolani, but he keeps it in front of him and towards the field of play, and so the runner McGowan cannot advance. So excellent play there by Chaz Bertolani. That's one that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but that ball bounced 2 or 3 feet in front of the plate, kept it in front of him, and kept it where the runner could not advance.
Yeah, I liked Bertolani last season also. A good presence there behind. I mean, oftentimes if you're a casual baseball fan, the catcher just seems like somebody who just makes the catch. But like you said, you have to be a defense there, especially when you've got a runner on third base for the 2nd inning in a row.
Curveball is going to catch the inside corner. Good location there, and that's going to be strike 2. So it's going to be a ball and 2 strikes on Hayden Cross. Designated hitter Trent Lewis waits on deck. So Appalachian State threatening with a runner at third base. They had a runner at third back in the 3rd inning as well, but we're not able to move them across. They've stranded 3 on the day so far, and we await the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and hit back up the middle. That's going to get the run home. Merced's going to glove it and throw to first, and Appalachian State is going to take a 1-0 lead on that RBI ground out from Hayden Cross. So Cross does his job. It's retired via the ground out, but the run is driven home, and that'll be 2 outs for Trent Lewis, the designated hitter. Lewis was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. So the Mountaineers do what you want. They got the leadoff double, moved him over on a ground ball, and then got the RBI ground out from Cross, and they're now in front of Lipscomb 1-0 here in the top of the 4th inning. That's fastball is going to miss outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
And that's a timely run there, too, for App State, because the runs, the bats, I should say, are still not swinging effectively for Lipscomb at this time. A lot of times this type of game is going to come down to who starts hitting better.
And that's a base hit out into right center field, a single for Lewis, and he'll be aboard with 2 outs. 2nd hit of the inning and the 4th overall for the Mountaineers. And Trent Lewis is now aboard with 2 outs. That'll bring up the center fielder, Alex Leshock. Leshock grounded back to the mound in an at-bat in the 3rd inning, so he is 0 for 1 on the day. 2 for 8 on the weekend for Leshock, who did come in batting .287, senior center fielder. So Lewis, your runner at first. Lewis does not have a stolen base on the season, does not have a big lead over there. And showing bunt and pulling back, but the home plate umpire Todd Henderson says yes, he did go there. So obviously with 2 outs, not a sacrifice bunt. He's trying to bunt for a base hit. Third baseman Stamps was already about even with the bag. He's probably going to take a step or 2 in, although the element of surprise should be off at this point. Bit of an infield shift. The second baseman Moore is shaded towards the bag at second. Shortstop Robbie Merced in a fairly standard position out there. Outfield straight away. So it'll be a no ball, 1 strike count to Leshock. Appalachian State 1, Lipscomb 0. Top of the 4th inning, 2 outs and a runner on first. Curveball tapped foul, and quickly it's 0-2. So good recovery here from Patrick Williams. He did surrender the leadoff double, but he really has not had any hard contact since then. Ball stayed on the infield, and so he's done a good job coming back. 2 base hits in the inning for the Mountaineers, and they've taken a 1-0 lead over Lipscomb. But he has Leshock in an 0-2 hole here. Again, Lewis, your runner at first. He is not running, and the fastball is going to miss outside. That'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Some action down in the Bison's bullpen. That looks like sophomore right-hander J.T. Caver is throwing. Again, we know that the Bison's bullpen a bit thin this weekend. They've got some guys shut down with some injuries, and so certainly been important to see Patrick Williams take this one into the 4th inning here. Here comes the 1-2, runner going, and he swings through it for strike 3. So a big strikeout there for Patrick Williams. That will be his 4th on the day, but the Mountaineers do pick up 1 run courtesy of 2 hits. They do strand another runner, and that's 4 they've stranded through the first 4 innings. But as we head to the bottom of the half, bottom of the 4th inning, new score, Appalachian State 1 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the 4th inning. Appalachian State has grabbed a 1-0 lead over Lipscomb, and the Bisons will send up 4, 5, and 6, Bachelor, Bertolani, and Stamps to face right-hander Noah Hall. He's done an excellent job through 3 innings. He surrendered 2 hits, no runs, walked 1, and struck out 2. And again, his pitch count at 38 so far after throwing 44 on Friday night. So Bachelor will try to get things started for the Bisons. He grounded into a fielder's choice to end the 1st inning. 0 for 1 on the day is Chris. Just 1 for 9 on the weekend with a couple RBI. So Chris looking to get on track here. And Hall's going to start him off with a fastball that's going to go high. As we mentioned, we'll update you on some of the scores around the Atlantic Sun Conference here. Several teams in action there in the top of the 7th. North Florida is leading Stetson 5-0. And Liberty leading North Alabama 3-0 in the top of the 6th. That's a breaking ball that's going to miss inside and low. 2 balls and no strikes. Kennesaw State is leading Bellarmine 8-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Jacksonville and Stetson were to play later today. That one's listed as canceled, as is Florida Gulf Coast and North Florida. So just 1 game today between North Florida and Stetson. And those are your ASUN teams in action. Fastball misses low, and so Hall has fallen behind Bachelor 3-0 now. One of the few 3-ball counts that he's gone to. I only have 1 other 3-ball count that he's had, or 2 others on the day. He's been very effective working the zone, but Bachelor may look at a pitch here, leading off in the bottom of the 4th with App State leading Lipscomb 1-0. And he misses way outside, so can't find the zone against Bachelor, and he puts him on with a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Chaz Bertolani, the catcher. He grounded out to the 3rd baseman back in the 2nd inning, so 0 for 1 on the day. Chaz did 1 for 6 on the weekend, has been on base with a couple of times via the walk. A couple other scores involving area teams. Western Kentucky leading Middle Tennessee 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Murray State and Belmont are scoreless in the top of the 4th. And in the top of the 6th, 2nd-ranked Vanderbilt is leading 5th-ranked Tennessee 8-3. Rubber game of that series over in Knoxville. Bertolani shows bunt, pulls back, takes a fastball on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Good location there, the fastball right on the black of the plate. And Bertolani's behind in the count, a ball and no strikes.
It's been a good series out there in Knoxville as well. I haven't had a chance to watch any of the games, but very, very competitive, and some diehard Tennessee fans out there as well.
See if they elect to leave the bunt on here with 1 strike. He does square to bunt, and he takes a slider off the plate. That time missed. It's a ball and a strike. Yeah, Vanderbilt took Friday night's game, then Tennessee won yesterday 8-4, hitting 3 home runs off outstanding Vanderbilt right-hander Jack Leiter, and it looks like the Commodores have been hitting the ball today as they lead 8-3 in the top of the 6th inning, the 3rd game between those 2 in-state rivals. So,
yeah, Jack Leiter and then Kumar Rocker, who had the no-hitter, and I believe Leiter had a no-hitter this season.
That was a hit and run play. It looked. Bachelor kind of hesitated and then took off, and Bertolani swung and fouled it out of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was a bit of an odd-looking start for Bachelor. It was almost as if he wasn't sure, and then he took off and headed towards second, and Bertolani looked like he was trying to go to the right side, and so it's a ball and 2 strikes here. So a couple of bunt attempts shown early in the at-bat, and then Coach Forehand took it off there and had a hit and run on. So we await the 1-2 pitch. Bachelor's not running, and Bertolani swings and taps this towards short. Welch is going to flip to second for 1 and on to first, and a double play. So a 6-4-3 double play there, which is exactly what the Mountaineers would want out of that situation. So Bertolani is retired, and Bachelor's erased from the base pass, and that'll bring up Ethan Stamps, freshman getting the start at third base today, and he responded with a double off the left center field wall back in the second inning. So 1 for 1 on the day. He'll bat now with 2 outs and the bases empty. Came into today's action batting .273. He'll be up from that. He has no homers and 2 RBIs on the season.
He's the only Bison to make it to third base today, and that was back in the second inning.
He looks at a breaking ball that stays inside, and so that'll be 1 ball and no strikes. Stamps is 5'9", 215 pounds, out of Madison, Georgia. Again, getting the start today at third base. And he hit the first pitch he saw in the first at-bat right off that left center field wall. But that one stayed inside, and so it's a ball and no strikes to Stamps. Fastball's going to miss low and away, and it'll be 2-0. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Mountaineers. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Bisons. Bottom of the 4th inning here at Ken Dugan Field on the campus of Lipscomb University. College baseball action between these two teams, an out-of-conference weekend for both. App State from the Sun Belt Conference and Lipscomb from the Atlantic Sun Conference. Here comes the 2-0 from Hall. Swung on, hit hard in the air to deep left center field. Still going back is McGowan, still going back at the warning track, reaches up and grabs it. So Stamps again hit the ball well and hit it all the way to the wall in deep left center field, but McGowan was able to get under it and record the 3rd out of the inning. So nothing doing for the Bisons here in the 4th. They've stranded 3 runners through 4 innings, and we have completed 4 innings. Your score, Appalachian State 1 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top of the 5th inning. Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 1-0. And freshman right-hander Patrick Williams back out on the mound. He'll face 9-1-2 for the Mountaineers. Williams has done an excellent job. He's pitched 4 full innings, given up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. He's thrown 51 pitches through the first 4 innings. So a very efficient and solid outing for the freshman right-hander Patrick Williams. And he'll start here with Bailey Welch, the shortstop, who reached on an error back in the 3rd inning, got all the way to third base and was stranded there. Starts him off with a pitch off the plate, and that'll be 1 ball and no strike. So we're moving right along. We've been playing an hour and 7 minutes, and we're in the 5th inning already. So both of these pitchers working quickly, which the defense appreciates, I know, and the game's moving forward. Saw a lot of that yesterday after playing over 4 hours on Friday night. Swung on and hit foul and out of play, and that'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bisons have played well at home overall. They're 9-5 on the season. They've really struggled on the road. A 1-12 record away from Ken Dugan Field. Chance to work on that again next weekend in that conference series over in Atlanta against Kennesaw State. Here comes the 1-1 from Williams. Curveball, and that's going to hit him in the head, I believe. And Welch is going to sprint down to first base as if to say, I think I'm okay. So curveball, so it didn't have a lot of velocity behind it, but it caught him right up in the helmet, and that'll bring us to the top of the order. And third baseman Peyton Idle. Idle was a strikeout victim back in the first inning, and then he popped out to shortstop in the third. So he is 0 for 2 on the day. And it looks like Coach Forehand is going to make a change. So got to tip your hat, though, to Patrick Williams. He's had an outstanding start here today, going out and pitching very, very effectively, getting his team into the fifth inning and giving up only 1 run. So he should get a nice ovation from the crowd. We'll step aside as the pitching change is made. Again, your score, Appalachian State 1 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live.
Yep. Just kind of starting to slip there at the top of the fourth. How's Caver done this year?
The new Bison's pitcher is the sophomore right-hander J.T. Caver. Caver 5'10", 180 pounds, out of Solon, Ohio, Solon High School. And he comes in making his 5th appearance on the season. He's had 4 previous appearances, worked 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, walked 4, struck out 3, 3.86 ERA, no record, no saves. Opponent's batting .273 against him. So J.T. Caver takes over for Patrick Williams. Bailey Welch is your runner at first base, and Peyton Idle, the leadoff hitter, is going to bat with nobody out. Top of the 5th inning, and Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 1-0. Welch on the season 4 for 4 in stolen bases, so he's got a fairly generous lead over at first base, and we'll see how the Mountaineers elect to play it here with Idle at the plate. Idle again came in batting .224 on the season, 1 home run and 11 RBIs. Welch is running. Pitch is outside for a strike, throw down, and they don't get him. The ball kicks off of Merced's glove, so that's going to be a stolen base for Bailey Welch. Pitch was called a strike in the zone, so it's no balls and 1 strike. So good throw there from Bertolani, who would have kicked off the glove of Robbie Merced, and they didn't have a chance to catch Welch. It would have been a bang-bang play either way. He had a healthy lead and a good jump and good speed out there. So 5th stolen base on the season for Bailey Welch, and he's now in scoring position with nobody out. No ball, 1 strike count on Idle. Caver with a 4-seamer and a slider, but a really good changeup. It's a money pitch for him, and that looks like that might have been the change, but it stayed high, and its count evens at a ball and a strike.
Caver, much like Williams, kind of a similar situation where we haven't seen a whole lot from him this season. Obviously, not his first year with the program, but Williams coming into the day, just 12 innings pitched and even less time for Caver this year. So good to see these guys getting out there here on a Sunday afternoon in non-conference, getting some time.
The 1-1 shows bunt and pulls back, and that's a breaking ball that missed low and inside, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
And I thought Williams had a good outing like you and I talked about during the break. It just wasn't really lasting. It didn't show a lot of longevity today. 4th inning, really 3rd inning too, you were starting to see some wear and tear, but came out with a couple of really good strikeouts in the 1st inning, first 2 batters, so he had a strong start. Really showed what he can do for this team down the line.
Idle shows bunt, offers at it, and doesn't get connected, so that'll make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. He showed bunt early and looked like he was going to commit to it, but did not make contact, so that'll make the count 2-2. Defensively, Malik Williams is back in standard depth at first base. Normal depth up the middle, and the third baseman Stamps is a step or so in front of the bag at third, but you'd have to believe that with 2 strikes, the bunt not as likely to be on, and here comes the 2-2 from Caver. And it's a changeup hit off the end of the bat. Stamps is going to glove it at third. He's going to throw to first, and he'll retire Idle there. So weak contact induced for the first out of the inning, but that does do the job of moving Bailey Welch over to third base. So that's what you want to see your leadoff hitter do in that situation. That's going to bring up Luke Drumheller. Drumheller, a strikeout victim back in the first, and then he singled and was stranded in the third. So 1 for 2 on the day. Came in batting .291. Again, 4 home runs, 26 RBIs, so he's tied for the club lead in home runs. And he'll bat now with a runner at third base and 1 out. Appalachian State already leading Lipscomb 1-0 here. Looks like the Bisons are going to elect to keep their infield back. A little bit of a shift on. Shortstop Merced swung up the middle. Second baseman Moore way over into the hole between first and second. And now they're going to creep in a little bit on the corners. And he swings and hits this one on the ground slowly to second. That's going to drive the run home. Moore's going to throw to first, and that'll retire Drumheller. But the run will score, so it's an RBI ground out. And Drumheller drives in a run for the second run of the day for Appalachian State.
Well, going back to the previous play, the first ground out in this inning, I'm wondering why they didn't elect to throw it to third base, because he was in position and would have gotten the scoring run out before that happened. I understand momentum probably carries you more towards first base, but at the same time, now you've got 2 runs on the board, despite the fact there are 2 outs.
2 outs, base is empty for Robbie Young, the first baseman, and he looks at a pitch that stays high for 1 ball and no strikes. I think there was no one covering third base, so third baseman Stamps had to come in and feel that soft ground ball, and there was really no one at the bag. So I think the only play he had was to first there. Just good execution. The Mountaineers doing what they have to move the runner over and then drive him in from third with less than 2 outs. And that's swung on and hit in the air towards left field. It's going to hang up for the left fielder Borum, and he'll glove it for the 3rd out of the inning. So excellent job there by J.T. Caver coming in and doing his job. But the Mountaineers do pick up another run on 1 base hit. They don't strand anyone, and we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and your new score is Appalachian State 2 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the 5th inning. Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 2-0, and we've got a pitching change for the Mountaineers. Coming to the mound will be the redshirt junior right-hander Shane Roberts, 6 foot tall, 205 pounds, out of Jupiter, Florida. He previously played at Palm Beach State College, and on the season, this will be his 9th appearance, all in relief. He's pitched 9 innings, given up 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, walked 7, struck out 8, and has a 5.00 ERA, but opponents are batting just 182 against him on the season. You can close the books on Noah Hall. He ends up going 4 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs, walked 2, and struck out 2. So an excellent outing from Hall. And likewise, starting pitcher Patrick Williams ends up going 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. So 2 good starts for each of these pitchers. And the Mountaineers will now turn it over to Shane Roberts, and he'll be facing 7, 8, and 9 for the Bisons, Graves, Houghton, and Moore.
And a great weekend for Hall overall, too. You had talked about how well he played on Friday night. Comes out with a good performance, and they pull him without him even allowing any runs, and just 1 runner advancing to third base under his watch.
That's going to bounce up there for ball 1. Yeah, so Hall for the weekend will end up with 6 2/3 innings, and he'll give up 2 hits and no runs. So that is very effective 2 appearances. They really maximized the time of getting him out there and giving his team what they needed. Again, he was the winning pitcher in Friday night's game, and he would stand to get the decision today if the score remains as it is. So it'll be a ball and no strikes to David Graves leading off here, bottom of the 5th inning. That's going to get through there as a fastball for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. David was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd inning. Bison's just with 2 hits on the day. They've only got 1 runner over to third base, so they'd like to get some offense going here in the middle innings against Appalachian State. Here comes the 1-1. Fastball misses high, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, if you're just joining us, teams played Friday night. They played 11 innings, and App State came away with a 9-5 win. Yesterday, a good pitchers matchup, and the Bisons came away with a 4-2 victory, riding 7 strong innings from Dylan Bierman. So each team has won a game, and we're in the 3rd game of the series, and they've all been good battles, very closely matched between these 2 teams. Here comes the 2-1 to Graves. That's going to skip up there, and that's going to be 3 balls and 1 strike. I mentioned Houghton waiting on deck. Graves getting the start in right field today. He's just got 17 at-bats on the season, so he'd like to get things started here for the Bisons in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the final score there will be Liberty 4 and Lipscomb 0, so the Liberty Flames complete a 3-game sweep of softball next door at the Draper Diamond in conference action for the Bison softball team. Here comes the payoff pitch to Graves. Swung on and hit foul and out of play to the right side. That'll keep it at 3-2.
Yeah, tough weekend for softball, too. Talented Liberty team that I believe is now 8-2 in the ASUN. Shut out Lipscomb in all 3 of those games this weekend.
And we know the Flames have an outstanding baseball program as well. They're leading the North Division of the Atlantic Sun Conference and played very well. And Bisons went up there and were swept in a series last weekend at Liberty. Here comes the payoff pitch to David Graves. Inside for ball 4. So David Graves will draw a leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Maddox Houghton, and he walked back in the 2nd inning. Was stranded, as the Bisons have stranded 3 runners on the day and really haven't had a lot of pressure on this App State team because, as we mentioned, only 2 hits on the day. But Graves is aboard with no one out. Maddox Houghton stands in. Again, nobody scored until the 4th inning, where App State put a single run up, and then they followed that up in the 5th with another run. They've got 4 hits on the day. The Bison's just with 2 hits, so it's a 2-0 game as we play in the bottom of the 5th inning here. And Houghton really knows how to handle the bat. We'll see how the Bisons elect to play it. He is squaring and bunts it hard and foul down the first baseline. That'll be strike 1. David Graves does not have a stolen base on the season. And I must confess, Spencer, I have not put him on the stopwatch. I don't know what kind of speed Graves has, so we might find that out, hopefully, if Houghton's able to get a ball in play here. David is 6'2" and 203 pounds, senior out of Waxhaw, North Carolina. And he's our runner at first base. Maddox Houghton's awaiting an 0-1 pitch from Shane Roberts. Yeah,
this is a Bison's team that has a penchant for stolen bases. I'm not mistaken, I think top 25 in the nation recently in stolen bases.
Yeah, 45 steals and 58 attempts on the season. So the Bisons have stolen 48 bags in 30 games. So
that's impressive.
Definitely like to run. So it's an 0-1 pitch that's due to Maddox Houghton here. David Graves running at first base. Nobody out, bottom of the 5th inning.
He's definitely ready to run.
That's going to be a fastball missing outside, and that'll even the count at a ball and a strike. Houghton did not show bunt that time. And Coach Forehand runs through the signs here. Outfield straight away, fairly deep in left field. McGowan, the left fielder, really respecting the power off the bat of Houghton. He is very, very deep in left field. The wind is blowing very slightly that way, but not much of a factor. Normal double play depth up the middle. And third baseman Idle is even with the bag. Here comes the 1-1. That's an off-speed pitch that stays outside, and it's 2-1. So Roberts a little bit of trouble finding the zone here as he comes in relief. Do see someone else throwing down in the App State bullpen, but we can't find a number from our vantage point. So again, the Mountaineers only used 3 pitchers on Friday night, one of whom was Hall, who pitched here today, and then they used just 2 yesterday. So the Mountaineers bullpen has not really been taxed on the weekend. Here comes the 2-1 to Maddox Houghton. This is way outside. Snap throw to first, and Graves is back easily. And so Roberts having some trouble finding the zone here. 3 balls and 1 strike to Houghton after he walked Graves. Second baseman Brian Moore would be on deck. We mentioned that the Mountaineers have used just 5 pitchers coming into today's game. Hall repeated, so this is only the 6th pitcher on the weekend with Roberts throwing. He has not thrown in either of the first 2 games. The Bisons used 6 arms on Friday night and 4 yesterday. So they're onto their bullpen here today already in the 5th inning with JT Caver coming on. Here comes the 3-1 pitch to Houghton. Misses outside, ball 4. So he has really not been close with too many of those fastballs. So Graves will advance to second. Houghton will advance to first. And Spencer, I didn't bring my wallet with me, but if I had, I would bet you that Brian Moore is about to lay down a bunt here. Brian, an excellent bunter, a lot of sacrifice bunts on the season. And with runners at first and second and the Bisons trying to get some offense going, it would not at all surprise me to see Brian Moore lay a bunt down here. He's put down a couple of excellent bunts this weekend and really is a guy that handles the bat well. He's going to actually call down and have a conference with Coach Jeff Forehand. It looks like that's going to allow for a mound visit on the App State side. That'll allow us to turn our attention back to the scoreboard. Again, we'll update you on some of the area teams and also the A-Sun action. They're in the bottom of the 8th now. North Florida leading Stetson 7-0. Liberty has stretched their lead out to 10-0 on North Alabama. That's the top of the 6th inning. Kennesaw State is leading at Bellarmine 8-3 in the 7th. So that would mean both Liberty and Kennesaw State going for a sweep of those weekend series. Liberty won the first 2 from North Alabama, and Kennesaw has taken 2 from Bellarmine. And that's all of the A-Sun teams in action. Some of the other area teams in the bottom of the 7th. Vanderbilt has extended their lead to 10-3 over Tennessee. Murray State has grabbed a 1-0 lead over Belmont in the top of the 6th, and Western Kentucky leads Middle Tennessee 3-0 in the top of the 6th as well. So that's your scoreboard update. So we'll give you a reset here. There are 2 straight walks as the new pitcher Shane Roberts came in. He walked David Graves. He walks Maddox Houghton. So Graves running at second, Houghton running at first. Brian Moore is batting. Defensive alignment we'll watch as the play develops here. Obviously, again, the Mountaineers are thinking just like we are, Spencer, that a bunt may be in order here. So they appear at regular depth at short and second. Both first and third basemen are in a step or 2 in front of the bag. Moore does square and pulls back and looks at ball 1.
Oh, said you don't have your wallet on you, so sorry about that.
Well, I don't think we're supposed to bet on the games anyway, but you get the point that I think that it's quite likely that a bunt's coming here with the way that Moore handles the bat, and also just to get those runners in scoring position with the top of the order coming up. That would certainly be a typical baseball play. So we'll see if the Bisons elect to play it that way. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. He is squaring, and he bunts it, and he pops it up. And this is going to be caught by the catcher, Cross. So Moore does not get the bunt down, and he pops that one up. And that's a tough first out of the inning for the Bisons, but it will bring back the top of the order and Tiger Borum. Borum's batted twice, and twice he's popped out to the shortstop, Welch. So Borum with runners at first and second now and 1 out. And that's a big out because obviously now chance for the double play being in order. So the First and third baseman will back up a couple steps now. They'll be behind the bag. But it looks like we're going to have a call to the bullpen before that happens. So we'll step aside. Again, your situation, bottom of the fifth inning, Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 2-0. And we'll be back after this short break. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. The new pitcher for the Mountaineers is redshirt junior Eli Ellington, a left-hander, 6'5", 225 pounds, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Played his high school ball at Covenant Day School and then also played at Gulf State Community College. And Ellington leads the team. This is his 16th appearance on the season, all in relief. He has a record of 1 win, no loss, 3.67 ERA. In 27 innings, he's given up 18 hits, 11 runs, 11 earned, 13 walks and 31 strikeouts. Opponents batting just 184 against him. And he comes in to face the only left-handed bat in the lineup for the Bisons, which is Tiger Borum, and he starts him off with a strike on the outside corner. So Ellington in relief of Roberts. Roberts came in and gave up 2 walks and then retired Brian Moore on the bunt pop-up. And he'll turn it over now to the most experienced arm in the bullpen, Eli Ellington. Texas swing. Did he go? And they're going to say yes. Third base umpire Matthew Barrett says yes. So that'll put Borum in a no-ball 2-strike hole. Again, David Graves, your runner at second. Maddox Houghton on at first. Both reached via the walk. And then Brian Moore put a bunt down, but instead of going down, it went up, and he was retired via a pop-up. So 1 out, 2 on, bottom of the 5th inning. Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 2-0 in Game 3 of this 3-game series. And here comes the 0-2 to Tiger Borum. That bounces up there. Good stop by Cross. And that'll make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. I have an interesting anecdote, Spencer. I had a chance to attend a Major League game this past week when the Bisons were in Pittsburgh and went to the Pirates game. And you know, anytime the ball touches the dirt, they throw it out in a Major League game. And now they've gotten to where anytime the ball's even hit in play, they want a new ball. So the new baseball, every time the ball is hit or touches the dirt. And I always think of that when I see that ball hit the dirt in college. We haven't quite gotten to that point yet for college baseball. Here comes the 1-2, curveball, and a good one, strike 3. So he really froze him with that curveball. Tough pitch for the left-hander. And that'll be the second out of the inning. And it'll be up to Robbie Merced to see if he can keep things going for the Bisons.
Your anecdote definitely doesn't surprise me. I think that's one of your major differences between Major League and amateur sports.
Yeah, they got to run through about 5 dozen baseballs during the course of a game, I guess, if not more. It's a constant in and out there. Robbie Merced's the last chance here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. He's grounded out to third and lined out to second. And again, 2 on, 2 out now for the Bisons in the bottom of the 5th. And Ellington starts him off on a pitch that's hit towards short. And Welch is going to glove it and flip to second. And Ellington comes in and does the job. So the Bisons will strand 2 more runners. That's 5 on the day that they have stranded. And they fail to score after getting 2 men on via the walk to start the inning. So we've completed 5 innings. Your score, Appalachian State 2 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top of the 6th inning. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for Appalachian State. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for Lipscomb. Back out on the mound in his 2nd inning of work is J.T. Caver. He came on and did a good job in the 5th, getting 2 groundouts and a flyout. And he's going to be facing 4, 5, and 6, the heart of the order for the Mountaineers, McGowan, Williams, and Cross. And here to tell you all about it is Spencer Bohm.
Thank you so much. McGowan for Appalachian State today has 2 hits, went to first and to second, I should say. So 2nd and 4th inning went to first and second. As we are awaiting ball play here, J.T. Caver is still on the mound for Lipscomb. First pitch is called a strike. It's going to be 0-1 for McGowan. Appalachian State has scored in 2 frames today, scored in the 4th and in the 5th. The 5th inning score was on a groundout, but it sent Bailey Welch home, who was hit by a pitch and then stole second and would eventually make it all around on the groundout. A 1-1 count right now for Kendall McGowan. Swings this one out of play for the foul ball. Count is now 1-2. Coming up after McGowan will be Williams and Cross, who really just haven't done anything today. Williams has flown out and grounded out, so is Hayden Cross. 1-2 pitch. It's going to be lined into right field and plucked out there on the play by David Graves, and that'll retire McGowan. Haven't seen the ball go that way very often. A lot of times App State has taken advantage of the middle to left side of the diamond today, kind of putting Ethan Stamps and Robbie Merced to the test a little bit, but that time McGowan just lines it out to right field, and so that'll now bring up Dalton Williams. Again, mentioned just a moment ago, batted it into the glove of the shortstop in the 2nd and then grounded out in the 4th to the first baseman. And he'll take this first pitch for a ball. Counts now 1-0. For Dalton Williams. 2-0 count now. Williams' average this season is just 103. It has dropped today. 5 and 7 tends to be the weak link for App State in their batting order. Have a strong 8 and 9 spot. Now a 2-1 count after the strike there on Williams. Nobody on base for App State with 1 out. And a 2-0 lead for the Mountaineers. Williams no swing that time. That one's going to cost him. That's strike 2. It's 2-2 now. So J.T. Caver, who filled in after Patrick Williams hit Bailey Welch with a pitch, has had 1 run score under his watch, and that came on a ground out, but bit of a stronger performance here. Count's now going to be 3-2.
Working down in the bullpen is left-hander Caleb Williams, who's getting hot. So, again, a lot of left-handed bats in the lineup for App State. Might see a lefty-on-lefty matchup here at some point.
And that one is going to be ball 4. He will make his way there. Wasn't sure for a second. Did start moving the bat a little bit, but not far enough by any means, and it was outside the zone. So we'll have a runner on first. That's going to be Dalton Williams, and up comes Hayden Cross, who also hasn't had any success yet today. Has flown out and grounded out, and Trent Lewis comes up after him.
Philip Cole is going to go in as a pinch runner over at first base for Cross. He just subbed in for Cross, so Cole running there. Cole 1 for 1 on stolen base attempts on the season. So he's inserted as a pinch runner. Correction, not for Cross, for Williams. I got that mistaken. Sorry, Cole in for Williams.
Swung on, and that one is called fair. And Philip Cole will make it to second. Nope, they're going to call that one foul. That's what I thought, because it didn't hit inside the line. So Cole heads back to first. It's now going to be 0-1 for Hayden Cross after all that.
Yeah, hard hit ball down the line, but I think it was clearly foul.
Yeah, no, definitely went about a foot or two right of the white line on the bat right there. So Kendall McGowan, again, lined out to right field to start this inning. That's where your 1 out comes from. Caver staring down on the mound. That one a touch outside. That's ball 1. Counts now 1-1 for Hayden Cross. Lewis comes up after him. He singled in the 4th. So a chance to put the Mountaineers in a bit of a better position right now here, top of the 6th inning. They already lead this one 2-0. No signs of life yet from the Bison's bats. Had a couple of walks in the bottom of the inning as we get a pickoff attempt here from the catcher.
Yeah, they almost had him picked off on that one. That ball bounced up there, and big lead, secondary lead from Philip Cole. Bertolani, once he got it in the glove, threw it down there. It was just a tick late, so they had a chance to pick him off there as he looked like he was trying to decide whether or not he wanted to take advantage of that dirt ball and head down to second, but he thought the better of it and headed back to first. And going to get a mound visit here from pitching coach Grayson Crawford. While we do, Spencer, I'll take a chance to update the schedule. Again, a reminder that the next Bison's home game will be Wednesday the 21st when they'll host crosstown rival Belmont, the 3rd installment of the Battle of the Boulevard. Those two teams played back on April the 6th. They split a doubleheader as Belmont won game 1 5-4, and the Bisons won game 2 10-9. So 2 really entertaining and tight ball games between those two longtime rivals. So that'll be Wednesday night the 21st. First pitch at 6 p.m. And then 3 games next weekend at Kennesaw State. Again, Friday afternoon, 4 p.m. Central. Saturday, 1 p.m. and Sunday, a 12 noon start for the Bisons at Kennesaw State. And after that, the Bisons will travel over to Knoxville to play that top 5 Tennessee team on April the 27th.
And that being said, mound visit with Caver has concluded. He's got a 2-1 count right now against Hayden Cross. And Philip Cole is your runner on first. Bertolani's going to have to pick this one up and throw it quickly and not in time.
I think that'll probably go as a wild pitch. It was down in the dirt. Bertolani had it roll a short distance behind him, picked it up, fired down to second, but Philip Cole was able to advance there.
And with that, it's now 3-1 with Hayden Cross a ball away from loading up first and second base. Philip Cole, you had mentioned, was 1 for 1 on stolen bases, so you knew he had some speed coming out of the pinch running position. And he's got himself on second. Only runner on right now for App State, but that could change here momentarily. That one's outside clearly, and Hayden Cross is headed to first. So App State in a good position right now, just one out and runners on first and second. And coming up will be Trent Lewis, struck out looking in the second inning and made it to first on a single in the fourth.
Double play still in order. Got one out here, but it looks like that we're going to have a pitching change as Coach Forehand is headed out to the mound. So with that being the second mound visit of the inning, I think they're going to look to bring in the left-hander Caleb Williams to face the left-handed hitting Trent Lewis. So that'll give us a chance to step aside. Again, we're in the top of the sixth inning, and Appalachian State is leading Lipscomb 2-0. We'll be back after a short break. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. New Bison's pitcher is sophomore left-hander Caleb Williams, a 6-foot-tall, 200-pounder out of Venice, Florida. Williams comes on here to pitch in the top of the sixth inning in relief of J.T. Caver. Patrick Williams was the starter. Williams went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and Caver an inning and a third, though he is responsible for the 2 runners that are out there at present. And standing in the box will be designated hitter Trent Lewis, and here to tell you all about it again is Spencer Bohm.
And it looks like they're actually bringing in Andrew Terrell, number 32, to bat against Caleb Williams. Let's talk a little bit about Williams. 3.72 ERA on the season. 8 appearances with 2 starts, but just over 9 innings pitched. So, again, another Bison's pitcher who just hasn't seen a whole lot of time in the 30 games played this season coming in. We had Patrick Williams to start, who pitched 4 1/3 innings, had a very strong start, 2 strikeouts in his first 2 batters faced, but it was kind of a downward slope from then on. And now, with App State having runners on first and second and a 2-0 lead, bit of a spotty situation right now as this one is rocketed out to the tennis court, not quite going to make it there. And some kids will chase the ball down.
Terrell did play in both of the first 2 games. He was 0 for 3 yesterday, was 2 for 5 with an RBI on Friday night. So he's seen action in both of the first 2 games in the series. Comes in batting .227 on the season. No home runs and 9 RBIs.
That one is rifled out of play. Count is quickly now 0-2.
So Williams is going to show you a lot of different pitches from that left side, Spencer. He's got a 4-seamer, a 2-seamer, a curve, a slider, a changeup, and a fork ball. So a lot of different looks, a lot of different arm slots, a lot of different off-speed action from Caleb Williams here. And we'll see how they elect to pitch to Terrell The right-hander pinch hitting for the designated hitter, Lewis.
Here's your 0-2 pitch. Swung on hard. That's strike 3 for Terrell, who just subbed in as the pinch hitter, and he strikes out swinging. So that'll be the second out. We had the line out to right field from Kendall McGowan earlier to start the top of the 6th, and now Terrell strikes out. So here is Alex Leishock, who grounded out in the 3rd inning.
That curveball looked like it was moving about 52 miles an hour. That was a really slow curveball, but Williams had him badly fooled, and he swung through it for that big strikeout. So a big out, number 2.
That one is called strike 1, so it's going to be 0-1.
Yeah, Leishock 0 for 2 on the day, grounded out and struck out, so he's still looking for his first base hit.
And that strikeout came in the 4th inning. So an 0-1 count with 2 outs. And again, Philip Cole is your runner on second. He's a pinch runner. And Hayden Cross is on first. Cole advanced to second on a wild pitch. And we'll have a little bit of conversation here with an 0-1 count.
That's head coach Kermit Smith who's talking to him. He brought out a chart, and I'm assuming that he's telling him about the scouting report on Caleb Williams and what he might expect. So we'll see if Coach Smith's words of wisdom were helpful to Leishock or not here. He's going to wait the 0-1 from Caleb Williams.
Would have thought maybe that information would be divulged a bit sooner, but
better late than never, I guess.
That is true. Bit of a holdup there for Williams. Was looking back at second base, but will go back to his original position. Feels like it's been 0-1 for a hot minute. And now finally that's going to change. It's going to be 0-2. So after all that, after all those discussions and conferences, we now have an 0-2 count with 2 outs. Runners on first and second for App State, but Lipscomb with a chance to stop the bleeding here. Bisons are down 2-0 right now in the top of the 6th. They've had a runner advance to third just once today. Registered 2 walks in the previous inning, but a pitching change cleaned that up pretty quickly. Here goes Williams on the way. That one is low, so it's 1-2. Bailey Welch is up next if they can get him. He's the only player to score today, or second player to score today, I should say, for App State. Made it home on a ground out from Luke Drumheller in the top of the 5th.
And defensively, the third baseman, Ethan Stamps, way close to the line and back, so we're really playing him to pull here. Leishock with 2 strikes.
Way outside, 2-2. So Williams tried the breaking ball, but it just stayed way outside.
Now Stamps is, again, going to stay deep and on the line, trying to avoid giving up that extra base hit down the line. So a pretty big gap between third base Stamps and shortstop Merced there if Leishock is able to get on one to the left side.
Two-two pitch. Swung on. That one's heading out of play. So count remains 2-2. Again, had a pitching change midway through this inning. Caleb Williams coming in replacing J.T. Caver, third pitcher that the Bisons have used today. They used 4 yesterday afternoon.
We still do have a little bit of activity down in the Bison's bullpen. I'm looking to try to pick up a number for you, Spencer. It looks like a right-hander throwing down there. And we'll follow that up here. Runners going.
Yeah, 2-2 pitch on the way, and Stamps had to jump for that one. Philip Cole is now on third base.
Yeah, both runners had a really good jump. They were running on pitch. Ball was in the dirt, as you mentioned, so tough chance for Bertolani. He threw it down. A nice play by Stamps to actually keep that one in the infield. That was a high throw. Could have easily gotten past him, but really not much chance to get either of those runners. Slow pitch, good jump. Now second and third with a full count.
Yeah, full count. This right here is a pivotal moment for Lipscomb. Caleb Williams against Alex Layshawk. Williams taking his time to survey the scene, and now looks like he should be ready to go.
Looks like he does not have that wristband on, so they're having to go to a series of body signs, so that takes a little bit longer to get all that information conveyed in here. Looks like they're still having some communication problems. Bertolani's going to go out to the mound and say, hey, man, here's what it means when I touch this part, and let's see if we can get on the same page. As we mentioned, Williams throws a lot of different pitches, and so that's going to require a lot of different sign communication. And as I mentioned, he does not have the wristband on that a lot of these pitchers use when they're out there for the Bison. So just to set the scene again, 3-2 count, 2 outs, runner second and third, and App State already up 2-0.
And here we go. Looks like Williams is ready to go this time. 3-2 on the way. Rocketed out. So a bit of an anticlimactic finish there to that sequence. It'll still be 3-2 with 2 outs. Alex Layshawk looking to at least load the bases right here. And once again trying to communicate signals. You can see Caleb Williams just slightly shaking his head at various points of time. 3-2 once again on the way. This one is popped up into right of center, just outside the sand, and it is plucked out of the air by Brian Moore, and the side is retired. Lipscomb still down 2-0 against App State. Bisons will come out to bat when we come back. You are watching Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Welcome back to Dugan Field. Eli Ellington still your pitcher for App State, number 29. We mentioned coming into today, he's the leader on the team in appearances now, 16 this year. Second most was your starting pitcher, Noah Hall, who had an impressive outing. But I think because he already played 2 2/3 innings on Friday, they didn't want to give him too many pitches. So appreciate all of you joining us today. App State has scored in the 4th and the 5th inning. I'm Spencer Bohm, filling in the 6th and the 7th inning for Doc Allen. Appreciate him letting me have a crack at a couple of innings. Malik Williams is up to bat, struck out looking in the 3rd and back in the 1st. He made it to first base on a single. He was the first player for the Bisons to get a hit today, and hits just have not come very frequently for the Bisons, just 2. Lipscomb looking for his first run, down 2-0. Swings on this one, rockets this one high, probably going to be catchable. We'll see. It's in foul territory. And that one's going into the stands. Everybody in the stands was ducking, and I think everybody's okay. It's got to be scary for the fans out there. What a sequence. So it's going to be 0-1 after all that is said and done for Malik Williams. Chris Bachelor and Chaz Bertolani coming up for Lipscomb after this. Pitch on the way. Short chopper. Williams on the way, and he's not going to get there. He's out quickly Wait, hold on 1 second. No, he's safe. He's safe. How about that? I thought they had gotten him, but sure enough, Malik Williams is safe at first, and it's just the third hit today for Lipscomb, second for Williams, who's now 2 for 3. So Chris Bachelor comes up, grounded out to second. Technically, it was actually a fielder's choice. He would have reached first. They threw out Williams at second back in the first inning, and then in the fourth inning, he made it to first, but on a double play, got picked out at second. Chaz Bertolani was responsible for the ground-out double play. So here is Chris Bachelor. He's got a runner on first to work with. And again, Bison's looking for their first run today. Let's this one, I thought that might be a touch outside, but again, I'm a bit of an angle here from the press box, so it's going to be an 0-1 count. McGowan over at third base for App State is a little ways inside, maybe about 10, 15 feet to the right of the bag. Once again, they call that pitch a strike. That one, it was just inside the inside corner, going to be 0-2 now for Chris Bachelor. No outs for the Bisons. Again, bats really just struggling for Lipscomb today. 2 errors for App State, 1 for Lipscomb. Swung on, popped up high, should be easily catchable, and nobody's going to advance. And coming in to pick this one out of the air is going to be Williams for App State. And scratch that, make that Robbie Young who gets him out, the first baseman, Robbie Young. So Chaz Bertolani now to bat for Lipscomb. And Bertolani today, ground out to first base in the second inning, and then the ground out for the double play that I mentioned a moment ago, that was in the fourth. So he's 0 for 2 and has been pretty quiet. Solid player at the catcher position. This one goes inside. Could have hit him as well, and look who is heading to second. Malik Williams had plenty of time to go on, I guess you could call that one a wild pitch. Be interesting to see what they officially score that as, but I'm just going to write wild pitch on my game notes. Bertolani has a 1-0 count. Pitch on the way, upstairs. It's 2-0. So 2-0 with 1 out. Again, no Bison has made it past third base. They've only had a player make it to third base one time. That was Ethan Stamps back in the second inning. This is the first inning for the Bisons to register a hit since the second. This one should be a flyout just around the line. So now 2 outs. So Ethan Stamps, who did make it to third base, he had a double in the second inning, and he has a chance. I mean, a double here would be great. I mean, once again, the Bisons have yet to register a run, and Stamps did have a flyout in the fourth inning that made it close to the wall, but McGowan had a huge leap there around the left field wall to pluck it out of the air and prevent the Bisons from getting on the board first, or for the first time that day. So not a bad position to be in with 2 outs and Williams on second if you are Ethan Stamps. So won't swing on that one and will pay for it. It's 0-1. David Graves is up next if they can get him on. Malik Williams doesn't have a penchant for stolen bases. 0 for 0 this year. Although he did make it to second on a stolen base a moment ago, so I guess I should correct myself. That one looks like it hit Stamps, but I guess they're going to say he leaned into that one if it did. So now the count's going to be 1-1 for Stamps. Again, this is a rubber match of a 3-game series. Bisons lost the first game in 11 innings. Second one they won yesterday 4-2. Absolutely stellar pitching from Dylan Bierman. That one will drop inside the belly for a strike. That was a beautiful pitch. Just sunk down through the zone.
Ellington's been really effective since he's come on. He's really induced a lot of weak contact and obviously hasn't walked anybody. Has the one strikeout in an inning and a third.
And we mentioned the amount of innings that, or amount of appearances, I should say, that Ellington has contributed this season as the 1-2 pitch swung on for another strike and the side is retired. Runner stranded on second is Malik Williams as Ethan Stamps strikes out swinging. We head to the top of the seventh. Your current score, Appalachian State 2, Lipscomb 0. This is Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Top of the seventh coming up. Sophomore pitcher Caleb Williams is still on the mound for Lipscomb. Saw some time after subbing in during the previous inning as we welcome you back to Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Spencer Bohm alongside Doc Allen, or I should say Doc Allen alongside Spencer Bohm. I'm filling in for the 6th and 7th inning, and he'll be back in for the 8th and 9th. So appreciate him letting me get a chance at this one. And coming in for App State is number 3, Bailey Welch, at the bottom of the batting order. Welch made it to third all the way back in the 3rd inning, had a single, and then advanced to third on an error. Made it home in the 4th on a ground out from Luke Drumheller. As he tries to bunt this one, that one will go out for a 0-1 count.
Spencer, felt like we were really zipping along those first 4 or 5 innings. Both pitchers really doing a good job, but the pace has slowed significantly in the last inning or so.
Yeah, I guess that's just how it works. A little bit too good to be true. One of the great things about those pitchers' duels is just how quickly they can go by sometimes, but Patrick Williams started teetering off a little bit there in the 3rd and 4th inning, and for Hall over for App State, he had just already played enough this weekend. So 1-1 count now here for Welch. Coming up will be the 1 and 2 hole hitters, Peyton Idle and Luke Drumheller. Both grounded out last time around. Outside and a bit upstairs, 2-1 is your count.
Scoreboard update on some ASUN activity. It's gone final now. North Florida has beaten Stetson 7-1. And Liberty is leading North Alabama 15-0 in the top of the 9th. Kennesaw State leading Bellarmine 11-5 in the bottom of the 9th.
Swung on. That one's going over Williams. It's picked up and thrown to the other Williams at first base, and he's out of there.
Terrific play there by Robbie Merced. He ranged way to his left, all the way behind the bag at second. Glove that, throws on, and a terrific, terrific play. That's as fine a play as you'll ever see a college shortstop make, Spencer.
Absolutely. Just didn't look like it had enough time. I thought for sure that was going to be a single. But Caleb Williams ducked out of the way, and Merced just zipping it over to Malik Williams.
Really, really terrific play. He did not have him played up the middle, but he got there quickly, showing that excellent range. And as we mentioned, he's been a terrific addition in the middle of the Bison's defense this year, has Robbie Merced.
1-0 count for Peyton Idle. Struck out looking in the 1st. Pop up to shortstop in the 3rd and a ground out in the 5th. So quiet afternoon for him. The 3rd baseman. Man, we got a 2-0 count now for him.
Top of the ninth now over in Knoxville, and Vanderbilt has stretched this lead to 10-4 over Tennessee.
That one's going to be strike one. Count is actually 3-1, excuse me. Yeah, it looks like you said Vanderbilt was leading?
Yes, that's correct. Looks like they may have a chance to take that series from Tennessee.
And that's good news for them, too, because they did struggle against Georgia the previous weekend. We'll get a walk here for Peyton Idle, but Tim Corbin looking to repeat the championship appearance back in 2019, in which they beat Michigan. 2 games out of 3. Michigan was the last team in the 2019 college baseball tournament. And Coach Corbin actually has some of those stars back. He's got Kumar Rocker, who had the no-hitter during the NCAA tournament against Duke. I actually had the chance to go to that game. And a 3-0 win, Rocker with a no-hitter. And then I believe it was Jack Leiter this season who had a no-hitter as well. On the way, here's a swing and a miss for Luke Drumheller. Strikeout, a single to first, and a ground out in the first, third, and fifth innings, respectively. And he's got a 0-1 count here quickly. Peyton Idle is on first following the walk. Robbie Young is on deck for App State. He has yet to register a hit today either. Hits are low for both squads. 4 for App State as they try to pick off Idle at first. He is safe.
Throwing down in the Bison's bullpen is the right-hander Tyler Drabick. He's up loosening. No activity in the App State. Well, I see actually a little bit of activity down in the App State bullpen now as well.
Swung on, popped up high, and Merced is going to look to pluck this one out of the air, and he does. So Idle remains on first, and it's the second out of the inning. So Robbie Young comes in for App State, mentioned 0 for 3 today, flew out in the first. Ground out to first base in the third, and then in the fifth, flew out as well to left field. So he comes in today, the first baseman, and arguably one of the best hitters on the team as well. And look at Idle. He is out. He was trying to steal second base, but they got him. They were not fooled, and the side is retired. Bisons use good pitching and good infield and outfield play, and they escape with no runs for App State. And they have another chance to get their first run of the afternoon. When we come back, your current score, Lipscomb 0, Appalachian State 2. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons baseball on YouTube Live. And welcome back to Draper Diamond, bottom of the 7th inning. I'm Spencer Bone. This will be my final frame of play-by-play before we hand it back over to Doc Allen for the 8th and the 9th. Appreciate you all joining us today. Andrew Papp is pitching. He is substituted in for App State. Has been a reliever his whole career, which started in 2018. has a win-loss record of 3-1, has yet to register a win or a loss this year, but he has appeared 9 times, 61 career appearances, 7 saves. The most productive season was in 2019, pitched 42 2/3 innings with an ERA of 3.38, and this season it's 3.40. Oh, no, sorry, 4.82, excuse me.
Yeah, Pap, a big frame, 6'4", 210 pounds, a senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and previously pitched at Clemson.
And we've got David Graves, who walked in the previous frame, struck out swinging in the second. This pitch is well inside, so it's going to be 1-0 for David Graves. Maddox Houghton and Brian Moore will be your 8 and 9 hitters coming up in this frame. On this beautiful afternoon, some sun peeking through the clouds, but some very scenic clouds in the sky as well out here at Ken Dugan Field. Bison's looking to get a series victory over App State in today's rubber match, down 2-0. Once again inside, and Graves now faces a 2-0 count. That one nearly hit him.
A couple other finals from area teams. Western Kentucky leads Middle Tennessee 3-1 in the top of the ninth. Actually hasn't gone final. And Murray State still leading Belmont 2-0 in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, Belmont a team to keep an eye on. We got our third match of the year against them, as this one's bounced out on the left side for a foul ball, 2-1 for David Graves. But yeah, doubleheader against Belmont last time those two teams played, Lipscomb and Belmont. They split the series, Belmont taking the first one, Lipscomb taking the second. Crosstown rivalry known as the Battle of the Boulevard, for those who are not familiar, very popular in mid-major basketball circles, and has produced some great games in recent years as well. Swung on back for another foul ball to even the count at 2-2. But yeah, Bison's basketball head coach Casey Alexander actually took the job up at Belmont in 2019 after leading Lipscomb to an NCAA appearance and NIT Finals appearance in 2 consecutive seasons. And went up to his alma mater, Belmont, after that. Just one of many fascinating stories in that rivalry. This one rocketed out towards left field. Let's see where it goes. That is a foul ball. That one was close.
Yeah, waited about 5-6 feet foul out there in left field. Well, Graves hit it well. It seemed to hang up for an eternity there, but not long enough to let the left fielder McGowan get under it. He was playing over off the line of fairways. The wind is actually blowing towards center field some now, so wind might have held that ball up a bit, but Graves hit it well.
David Graves this season, no home runs and just 1 RBI for him. Lets this one stay inside for a ball. Now the count is full for him, so 2 balls to start out this at-bat for him. 2 strikes and then a third ball, so we'll see what he can do here. No outs for Graves. Center field 400 feet, left field 330. Rockets this one forward. That is going to be plucked out of the air. What a play.
Wow, Graves really hit that ball well. Very, very solid hit ball, and nice running catch there by Leyshock in center field. That was one that could have easily gotten down and been extra bases for Graves.
And Graves has struggled this year, but is a veteran presence on the team, is a senior on the roster, but almost had one there, but now Maddox Houghton up to try with 1 out. Brian Moore is behind him, and if they can get to the top of the batting order, it'll be Tiger Borum. Houghton today walked to first in the 2nd inning and also in the 5th inning. So he's had 2 appearances and has made it to first both times. Once again, line to center field. Let's see if this one drops. And it'll hit the wall. There goes Houghton. He's running to second. He won't stop there. He's going to continue his tear and stop at third, and that is a triple for Maddox Houghton.
Yeah, hit the ball almost the same place that Graves did, but got a little more of it and got it over the head of Leyshock, and that was really rocketed out there by Maddox Houghton. So good to see him with a solid swing, and the Bisons have another runner at third base. Be only the 2nd time today they've gotten someone that far around, and be up to Brian Moore, see if he can bring him home.
Yeah, Brian Moore fly out and pop out today, so hasn't had a whole lot of success, but he does have a lot of leeway with a runner on third and just 1 out for the Bisons. Lipscomb has yet to put up any runs this afternoon, but best position to do so since the second inning when Ethan Stamps was on third.
Keep in mind, as we talked about earlier, Moore, a really excellent bunter, likes to bunt the ball, so this could be a chance to see one of those safety squeezes where Houghton, who's a good runner, a good base runner, played a lot of baseball, has good speed at third, could try to read this off the bat of Moore. We'll see how they elect to play it.
Moore will swing on that one and pay for it. It's 0-1.
Yeah, defensive alignment. Third baseman Idle is even with the bag and creeping in on the pitch. The first baseman Young is even with the bag but off the line a bit, and then their normal position is short and second.
Nine RBIs this season for Moore coming into today. They will look like he checked there, but that's called a strike. It's going to be 0-2.
Yeah, tough call there. I really thought he held up. But
that's what I thought.
home plate umpire Todd Henderson felt that he broke his wrist and rung him up. The pitch was clearly low. I don't think the pitch was a strike on its own, so it had to be on the swing.
Yeah, I completely have to agree with you on that one. So runner on third for the Bisons, and Brian Moore with an 0-2 count. Swings on this one. That one's going out of play. So count remains at 0-2.
That was a breaking ball. He really sat on and hammered it down the left field line, but it was clearly foul, so he was ready for that one.
And we know Houghton can run, too, 4 of 5 on stolen bases this season. So if you get a good hit, should give Houghton plenty of time to run home if need be. That one bounces off the dirt. Cross is going to have to go quickly to pick it up, but he had plenty of time to do so as well. So count's now going to be 1-2. First ball for Brian Moore's at-bat from Papp. Again, Andrew Papp is your fourth pitcher today for App State. That one is swung on hard there by Brian Moore, and it's strike 3. So that brings up the top of the batting order, Tiger Borum. And he's who the Bisons are going to have to depend on here to try and get the first run of the day with Maddox Houghton sitting there at third base.
A really nice pitch there from Papp, kind of what I call a backdoor slider. He started it almost even with his body and then got it across the inside corner. So tough pitch to handle. Got to give your tip of the cap to Papp for executing a really good pitch.
And it was App State who scored in the 4th and the 5th inning. Those are your only 2 runs today. Bison's down 2-0 here, bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch is outside, 1-0 for Tiger Borum. Flew out in the 1st and 3rd and struck out in the 5th, did Borum. Borum 15 runs batted in this season. That's called strike 1. 1-1 is the count.
So it looks like Papp really relying on that breaking pitch. He's got that slider, and he seems to feel comfortable throwing it in any count. He's really used it to great effect. It obviously was inside corner for Moore, and that's on the outside part of the plate to the left-handed swinging Borum.
Borum awaits this one. Just barely checks there, so it's going to be 2-1 now. 2-1 with 2 outs. Bisons have registered now 3 hits today and 1 error. Looks like the umpire is going to...
I guess they're going to see if he swung at that one. Maybe what the conference is about here. We don't have replay.
I definitely don't think he did.
Here. Yeah, it looked like that he pretty clearly held up, but we thought the same thing about Brian Moore, and we saw how that one turned out. So
yeah, it looked like I thought for sure he just kept his bat up there clearly and checked his swing and just moved it a few inches, really. He held it up the whole time.
Looks like they're going to call Coach Kermit Smith out. We'll again update the schedule coming up for the App State. They are going to go home and host Charlotte on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central start. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're on the road at Troy. Before Tuesday the 27th, they host NC State to come to Boone to play the Mountaineers. So Appalachian State, similar to the Bisons, got a conference series next weekend and then playing a Power 5 team the following week. And Coach Smith is arguing, seems like he's asking if the umpiring crew will converse again, but I don't think he's going to win that argument. It looks like the call is going to stand, and so the count's going to be 2 balls and 1 strike.
Oh, did you see that just now? The umpire was pointing at him.
Might have given him a warning. You know, typically they'll.
I think that's what just happened there. They didn't kick him out, but I think they just warned him.
I think that he's probably on notice that they don't want to hear a whole lot more out of the dugout.
2-1 count now for Tiger Borum with 2 outs and Houghton on third. Borum swings. That one's a chopper. That one's going to go above Pap, and there's out number 3. So the side is retired. Bisons come out with no runs there, and they remain down 2-0. You are watching Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We'll be back in just a moment for the top of the 8th.
We head to the 8th inning. Your score is Appalachian State 2 and Lipscomb 0. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for App State. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the Bisons. And the left-hander Caleb Williams will be back out to face 3, 4, and 5 for App State. Young, McGowan, and Cole scheduled. We'll see if they leave Cole in the game or not, as he came in as a pinch runner back in the 6th inning. So our special thanks there to my colleague Spencer Bohm with a couple of outstanding innings of play-by-play call, and I want to extend our congratulations in advance to Spencer. Spencer is going to be graduating from Lipscomb University here in just a couple of weeks, so a chance to walk across and collect a well-earned degree. So congratulations in advance, Spencer.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Been a pleasure to work with you, even though it's been unfortunately limited with COVID last year and this season as well, but been an absolute joy to get to learn more about baseball from you, and appreciate the opportunities to get to do a little play-by-play as well.
2-0 count here on Robbie Young. Swings and hits that one into left field for a base hit. So nice job going the other way. He went right in that gap that was over there. And that'll be a base hit for Young, and that'll be the 5th base hit on the day for the Mountaineers. First for Young. He is previously 0 for 3, and that'll bring up Kendall McGowan, the left fielder. McGowan singled and was stranded back in the 2nd. He doubled in the 4th, and then he flew out in the 6th. So he's 2 for 3 today, after having gone 1 for 8 in the first 2 games of the season. So I want to put a plug out there, too, and say that Spencer's pursuing a career in broadcast. If there's anybody out there looking for an outstanding play-by-play and color commentator in a variety of sports, Spencer, I'm not sure there's a sport that you can't comment about. That one's going to get away, and that's going to allow Young to advance down to 2nd, and I'm assuming that'll probably be an error on the pitcher Caleb Williams as the pickoff throw got away there. That'll take Young down to 2nd base with nobody out. But if anybody out in our audience looking for an outstanding young man to get into broadcasting, this man can do a lot of things. So happy to make a connection there. Our situation here is the top of the 8th. App State's leading Lipscomb 2-0, and Kendall McGowan is now going to bat with a runner in scoring position. Caleb Williams is on. He's the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Bisons. Patrick Williams went 4 innings to start. J.T. Caver an inning and a 3rd, and Williams has pitched an inning and 2/3, and he leaves that one high as McGowan was showing bunt, and then he pulled back. Good start for Patrick Williams. 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. J.T. Caver pitched very effectively for an inning and a 3rd. 2 walks, no strikeouts, no runs, and now Caleb Williams 1 2/3. He's given up 1 hit, has not allowed a run. He's walked 1 and struck out 1 so far. The runner at second base is his responsibility. That's Robbie Young. And he's swinging, and he fouls that one, I believe, at the plate.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, leaving the count at a ball and a strike. I think that went off the catcher, Bertolani. So home plate umpire Todd Henderson will take a stroll out to give Bertolani a moment to collect himself. That partnership that exists between catchers and umpires. They both take a lot of punishment back there, and so they try to take care of each other when a foul ball comes back. We're playing in the 8th inning here. It's been a good ball game. The 3rd game of the 3-game series. 2 good games already. One Friday night went to 11 innings. App State came away with a 9-5 win. And on Saturday, Lipscomb was victorious 4-2 behind a strong start from Dylan Bierman on the mound. So these teams have been very evenly matched across the weekend. And we await the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and hit towards second. It's going to be gloved by Brian Moore. He's going to throw on to first. But McGowan does his job and advances the runner over to third base with 1 out now. That's one that doesn't show up in the score sheet. Looks like a simple ground out, but that's exactly what you want your batter to do there, is get that runner to third base with less than 2 outs. And so,
yeah, and you're at a point where you're almost looking for insurance runs as well. You're up 2-0. Bats really are not flying for Lipscomb at the moment and haven't been all game and are really showing no signs of doing so otherwise, except for that triple by Maddox Houghton last time around. So even with 1 out, if you get a run or 2 here, that's huge for App State.
And I believe we're going to have a pitching change as Coach Forehand is on his way to the mound. And so we'll step aside while the change occurs. Again, top of the 8th inning, Appalachian State 2 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. Pitcher for the Bisons is junior right-hander Tyler Drabick, 6'2", 199-pounder out of North Canton, Ohio. Previously played at Kent State. He's in his first season with the team. And this will be his team-leading 17th appearance on the season. He has no record as far as wins or losses, no saves. Does have a 3.98 ERA. That reflects 20 1/3 innings of work, 15 hits, 10 runs, 9 earned. Walked 10 and struck out 28. Opponents batting just .205 against Tyler Drabick. And Drabick's money pitch is that slider that he effectively gets across the plate, particularly to right-handed hitters. He also will throw a 2-seamer and a curve and a changeup, but the slider has been his money pitch. He did pitch here on Friday night. He only went 1/3 of an inning, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was not earned, and struck out 1. He threw 24 pitches. So Drabick's in the game now. Just to reset the situation, Appalachian State is leading 2-0, top of the 8th. They have a runner at third base, and that's Robbie Young. And batting will be Philip Cole. Cole came on as a pinch runner back in the 6th inning, so he has not had an at-bat today. Comes in today batting just .198 on the season, but he's got 106 at-bats. 2 home runs, 19 RBIs for Philip Cole. So Cole to face Drabick, with the Mountaineers threatening to add to their lead here in the top of the 8th. And that slider stays high, and that'll be ball 1.
Yeah, he had busy work in that 6th inning, ended up making it all the way to third base as a pinch runner for Dalton Williams, but
yeah, got stranded over there as the Bisons were able to escape that jam. And he swings, taps this one towards first. That's going to be foul, and that'll even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So again, teams were scoreless all the way through the 4th inning. App State broke through, put a run up then, a single run in the 5th, and that's been all the scoring we've had. Only 8 hits total, 5 for App State, 3 for the Bisons. And it's a 2-0 game here in the 8th inning. So both teams' pitching staffs have been effective here. Comes the 1-1. Slider swings through it, and it's 1-2. Again, that's really Drabick's money pitch. He can come in with a fastball that'll be 89 or 90, but that slider is tough on right-handed hitters as it's moving away from them. And we saw Cole swing through that one. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Young, your runner at third. That's a slider further off the plate, and that'll even the count at 2-2. Catcher Hayden Cross waiting on deck. No activity down in the Bison's bullpen. As we mentioned, they've got some guys nicked up, so I think they're going to go with Drabick for now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Swung on and hit foul and out of play to the right side. That'll keep the count 2-2.
Oh, that one just bounced off the lights and hit a player in the
App State dugout?
Yeah, in the App State dugout. Looks like he's fine, but
wow,
that one bounced right off of the lights. And
guess you got to keep your head on a swivel at all parts in the ballpark here. I lost track of that one when I saw it was going out of play. So hopefully everyone's all right there. Here comes the 2-2 from Drabick. Swung on and foul back to the screen again. And the count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. Infield is in. If you're watching on television, you'll see that Merced and Moore up the middle are on the grass, and they're going to play to cut that run off at the plate. So they're trying to keep this one right where it is at 2-0 count, and it's a 2-2 pitch due. Swung on and foul back again. So tip your cap to Moore, or to Cole here rather. He's doing a good job extending the at bat, fighting those sliders off from Drabick. Again, first baseman Malik Williams, third baseman Ethan Stamps also pulled in. So Bisons are unwilling to concede another run here because you mentioned, Spencer, offense has been tough to come by, so trying to keep this one right where it is. Here comes the 2-2 from Drabick. And strike 3. Beautiful slider there, froze him. So a big strikeout there for Drabick. That's the 2nd out of the inning, and so that'll bring up Hayden Cross batting now with 2 outs and the runner at third base, and that was the money pitch that you expect to see from Drabick, that slider, and we really froze him with that. So Drabick comes in and does his job against Cole, and now Cross will bat, and looks like before he does, we're going to have a visit out to the mound.
it looks like they're also putting Merced and Moore back again towards the other side of the stand. You mentioned how they had slid up a little bit, but
yeah, I think with 2 outs, they're going to play in normal position there. So give us a chance to update our scoreboard while we do. It's gone final now. Western Kentucky has beaten Middle Tennessee 3-1. Also final, Murray State has beaten Belmont 2-0. Liberty's gone final 15-0 over North Alabama. Kennesaw State beat Bellarmine 11-7. North Florida beat Stetson 7-1. And final now from Knoxville, Vanderbilt 10, Tennessee 4. So the Commodores end up taking 2 of 3 in that series across the state. Looking now at the standings in the Atlantic Sun. Baseball in the north side, Liberty leading at 10-1, Kennesaw State 9-2, Bellarmine 5-9, Lipscomb 4-8, North Alabama 3-11. Those are your conference standings on the north side of the A-Sun. Drabick ready to work to Cross. Swings and fouls it off at the plate, 0-1.
and North Alabama still trying to find its footing. 3rd season at the Division I level. They're in year 3 out of 4 of their Division I transition. If you transfer in from D2 or D3, you have a 4-year period where you're ineligible for an NCAA tournament. So still trying to get their footing. For the most part, their athletic programs have, generally speaking, not played particularly well yet. But
swung on, hit back up the middle. That's going to be a base hit, and that's going to drive in the run. So Cross will get the 6th base hit of the day for the Mountaineers, and he'll drive in Robbie Young, and it's now 3-0 App State. Good piece of hitting there. Cross just went straight back up the middle, sat on that slider, and drove it for a clean base hit, and so it'll be 3-0 App State, 2 outs, and that'll bring to the plate Andrew Terrell. Terrell was a pinch hitter back in the 6th inning, and he struck out swinging, so he's 0 for 1 on the day. And Cross at first only has 1 stolen base in 2 attempts on the season, so not much of a chance or a threat to run there, you would think. Swung on and hit in the air towards center field. Houghton's going to take a couple steps to his left, and he'll glove it for the 3rd out of the inning. But in the inning, 2 more hits for the Mountaineers. They do pick up a run. They strand a runner. On the day, they've now stranded 7 runners. But we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and it's a new score. Appalachian State 3 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 3-0, and a familiar name on the mound. It's Andrew Terrell. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because he just batted. He was the last batted out in the last inning. He's been in the designated hitter role, and now he'll go to the mound. 5'11", 165-pound junior out of Franklin, North Carolina. On the season, he'll be making his 6th appearance. He's 1 win and 1 loss. He has started 2 games. He has 1 save, 2.84 ERA. So he's worked 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, walked 5, struck out 12. Opponents batting .240 against him. So something you don't see often, Spencer, but Terrell moves from batter's box to the mound now, and he will be the 5th pitcher of the day for the Mountaineers. He'll be facing 2, 3, 4 for the Bisons, Merced, Williams, and Bachelor.
And again, the previous inning ended kind of disappointingly if you're Lipscomb, because you had Tiger Bourne with a 2-1 count, a chance to send Maddox Houghton home, and instead grounded out to first on a chopper. So Bisons have tried to bite a couple of times, but it really hasn't worked out, and they've been out hit today 6-3, and that's reflected in your 3-0 score.
Swung on and tapped towards shortstop. Welch is going to glove it. He's going to throw to first, and that's an out in the inning. So Robbie, a tough day, 0 for 4 now with that ground out. And that'll bring up Malik Williams. Malik singled back in the first and was stranded. He's also struck out and reached on an error, so 1 for 3 on the day for Malik Williams. So Andrew Terrell on in relief. As we mentioned, he is the 5th pitcher of the day for the Mountaineers. Hall started, went 4 innings, didn't give up any runs. A third of an inning from Roberts. Ellington 1 2/3, and Papp with an inning. And they have combined to shut out the Bisons to this point. There's a fastball strike, 0-1 to Williams. So really effective work throughout the lineup from Appalachian State today on the mound. Coach Kermit Smith has to be pleased with how his bullpen has responded after getting an excellent start from Noah Hall. Here comes the 0-1, swung on off speed, and he chased it and didn't get it, 0-2. Bisons have used 4 pitchers now as well, so as often happens in these Sunday games, a lot of action out of the bullpen from a lot of different guys. Here comes the 0-2. Swung on and hit towards short. Once again, Welch is going to glove it. He's going to throw to first. Low throw, and it's going to get past the first baseman. The catcher, Cross, was over there backing it up, and I got to believe that's going to be a throwing error on the shortstop Welch. He gloved it, had plenty of time. Williams doesn't run particularly well, but he threw it away, and so Williams is going to reach on an error for the second time today. And that'll bring up Chris Bachelor, the designated hitter.
I think that's the second time today, too, that we've seen Williams reach.
Yeah, via the error. Yep, he reached on an error, the first baseman earlier. So Bachelor is 0 for 2 with a walk today. He's grounded into a fielder's choice and flew out and reached on that walk. So 0 for 2 for Chris. And he looks at a breaking ball just off the plate. That'll be a ball and no strike. So again, Williams, your runner at first base, does not have a stolen base on the season. You wouldn't think the Bisons would be running down 3-0 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They need to string some hits together. Only 3 hits on the day. They have indeed scored that an error, so 3 errors on the day now for Appalachian State. That stays inside, and that's going to be ball 2. So 2-0. Again, Bachelor, a very patient hitter. Doesn't swing at a lot of pitches out of the zone. Got a .358 on base percentage and has walked 13 times on the season out of 101 at-bats. So he's got a 2-0 count that he's working now against Andrew Terrell. Malik Williams running at first. Swung on and hit, and that's a base hit into right field. Williams is going to have to stop at second, but Chris Bachelor has got the 3rd Bison's hit of the day with that single, and he did a really nice job staying on that pitch. That was on the outside part of the plate. Didn't try to pull it, hit it right through that hole between first and second and gets bored.
And I think, too, I mean, the direction he hit it in, it went in front of Williams. So Williams cut off the path for Appalachian State's first baseman Young to even get a chance at that ball. So nice job overall there from Chris Bachelor. And now all of a sudden you're in a situation. You've got runners on first and second. You're only down 3-0 in the bottom of the 8th. You've got to get that clutch play. They haven't been able to get it yet.
Chaz Bertolani's going to stand in. He grounded out back in the 2nd, hit into a double play in the 4th, and then flew out into foul territory in the 6th. So 0 for 3 for Chaz. He's overdue. Comes in as the Bison's leading hitter on the season. Another one of the Bison's preseason All-Atlantic Sun Conference selections. And he bats now with 1 out rather, and 2 men on. Williams running at second and Bachelor running at first. And fastball misses low for a ball 1. So again, Bachelor just poked that one right in the hole between Drumheller at second and Young at first. So good piece of hitting there. Coach Forehand's going to call time, and he's going to call Chaz down to have a bit of a conference with him. Again, you'd have to think that the bunt not too much in order here with 1 out already. And runners on first and second. Again, 3 runs, 6 hit, and 3 errors on the day for App State. No runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Bisons. And so not a very clean game defensively. And usually with that number of errors, you see some runs crossing the plate. But so far has not hurt App State. We'll see in this inning if it comes back to hurt them, as one of those runners out there now, the lead runner Williams at second, is on courtesy of the error. Bottom of the 8th inning, Appalachian State 3 and Lipscomb 0. And Bertolani swings through a fastball, and that'll leave him the count at a ball and a strike. Outfield is fairly straight away, although I would say the left fielder, McGowan, is a little deeper and a little more towards the gap than what one might consider standard position there. Double play depth up the middle, as you'd expect with 1 out. And the corners there a step or 2 behind the bag, so not much wind at the moment at the ballpark. It's not really been a factor here today, despite the overcast skies. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Chaz Bertolani. And nice pitch there over the outside corner. That was a fastball. He got the call, so it's 1-2. Stamps waits on deck. Again, base runners have been hard to come by for the Bisons today. They've really struggled against this App State pitching staff to move guys around. So a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch is due from Terrell to Bertolani. Swung on and tapped towards third. Third baseman's going to go to second for 1, going on to first. And they say he's safe. So slow hit ball there that Bertolani's able to leg out and get down to first, so he'll reach on the fielder's choice. And Bachelor is going to be erased at second, and Williams will get over to third. So now with 2 outs, that'll bring Ethan Stamps to the plate. Stamps doubled back in the second inning, correction, and then he flew out to deep left center field in the 4th and then struck out swinging in the 6th. So he's hit the ball twice hard today in 3 trips to the plate. Again, getting the start today at third base. Came in with only 22 at-bats on the season, so swung it well today has Ethan Stamps, the freshman. So Malik Williams at third, Chaz Bertolani at first, 2 outs. And Lipscomb trailing App State 3-0 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Swung on and hit foul at the plate, like an off-speed pitch that he just got a hold of, so 0-1. And got to be impressed with Terrell. He's come in and been right around the zone. He really has gone right at the hitters. Hasn't gotten very deep in the counts. He had 2-ball count to Bachelor, but outside of that, he's really been effective around the plate.
Yeah, with that second consecutive inning for the Bisons to have a runner on third. They got Williams here last time around. Maddox Houghton made it all the way to third on a triple. The sad thing is, once again, you're faced with 2 outs, so your options for where to hit the ball are very limited right now if you are Ethan Stamps.
Off-speed pitch stays outside and high, and so the count's a ball and a strike. 2 Stamps.
Stamps did have the double in the second, so we know that he's capable of producing as he has today. One of just a very select few Bisons.
Swung on and hit in the air towards right field. Slicing down the line, it's going to get foul.
Man, that was close, just a few feet away too, but just the direction it went, not close enough. That would have been huge for him.
Yep, he went with an outside pitch, went to right field, and it was slicing and had that spin to go away from the field of play. The right fielder Williams gave it chase. There's no way he would have gotten there, but it landed clearly foul by 5 or 6 feet. So that'll be a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Stamps. Again, Andrew Terrell on with his first inning of work here for App State. Williams running at third, Bertolani running at first. Swings and taps it foul again. That was a slider that he just got a piece of to stay alive. So
I think he hit it with his bat twice there.
he might have gotten more than 1 hack at that one. So I do recall Stamps with an at-bat at North Alabama earlier in the season where I believe he fouled off nearly a dozen pitches to extend an at-bat. So he's a young man that'll stand up there and have good bat control and protect the plate with 2 strikes, and that's where he finds himself here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Terrell is going to come to him. Swings and hits it on the ground towards short. He's going to glove it and throw to first, and it's going to be high, but Young is going to jump up and get it and come down on the bag. So, again, another errant throw coming out of the shortstop Welch, but the first baseman Young bails him out, goes up and gets that throw. And once again, the Bisons are going to strand 2 runners. That is 9 runners that they've stranded on the day, and they don't score in the bottom of the 8th. So we're headed to the 9th inning. Your score, Appalachian State 3 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the ninth inning. Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 3-0. Due up for the Mountaineers will be 8-9-1. LeShock, Welch, and the top of the order Idle facing Tyler Drabick. Drabick came on in the 8th inning and worked 2/3 of an inning, gave up just 1 hit, no runs charged to him, no walks, and 1 strikeout. So he'll face LeShock here and try to keep it right where it is and give the Bisons a chance in the bottom of the 9th after they weren't able to push across any runs in the 8th. So LeShock bats. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Tapped back to the pitcher in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 4th, and then popped out to first in the 6th. So 0 for 3 for LeShock. And the slider misses away and low, and that'll be ball 1. 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the Mountaineers. No runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Bisons here, playing in the 9th inning of Game 3 of this series between the two teams. Here comes the 1-0 from Drabick. Swung on and fouled at the plate. He just got a piece of it, a ball and a strike. We mentioned the Bisons back in action on Wednesday night. That game's a 6 p.m. start, and it will be on ESPN Plus. So if you can't make it to the ballpark, check in on ESPN Plus and watch Lipscomb host Belmont in the latest installation of the baseball Battle of the Boulevard. And that's a off-speed pitch that stays high, and that's going to be 2-1 on LeShock. A little bit of action down in the Bison's bullpen. It looks like Gavin Grubbs is throwing down there.
That's interesting. Grubbs actually did see a little time yesterday as well.
And that's a slider that also stays high, so 3-1. Yeah, Grubbs pitched on Friday night and yesterday, so he's pitched in both games of the series so far. 12 pitches Friday night. Yesterday he threw only 5, so still could come back, although it's unusual to see a guy 3 days in a row, but we might see him for a batter or 2 here. And that's going to hit him. Like a slider that just didn't move, and so LeShock is going to be on board with a hit by pitch. That'll bring up Bailey Welch. Welch, the shortstop, is 0 for 2 on the day. He has reached on an error, was hit by a pitch, and then grounded out. So 0 for 2, but he did score a run. When he reached on that hit by pitch, he wound up stealing a base and coming around to score on an RBI ground out from Drumheller. So leadoff runner LeShock is on at first base, nobody out. Top of the 9th inning, and App State already up 3-0 here on Lipscomb. And LeShock is 5 for 5 in steals on the season. He's tied for the team lead with the stolen bases. Again, you wouldn't expect him to be running in this situation, but we'll see how they opt to play it. Bunt still could be in order here if they want to move him around with nobody out. Charging hard is third baseman Stamps. He is not bunting, so third baseman Stamps and first baseman Williams both charge, but he looked at a pitch high, and it's a ball and no strikes. So that's a design play there on the defense. You had both third baseman Stamps and first baseman Williams crashing even before the pitch was made. Obviously, the middle of the infield staying back to keep the double play in order. We'll see if the Bisons keep that play on or if they change it. They are not charging this time, and he is taking a strike through there, and it's a ball and a strike. So a little bit of that cat and mouse game that goes on late in the ball game here. You've got signs being relayed in from the dugout to the hitter and to the base runner, and then other signs being given on the infield about how the Bisons want to defend a possible bunt here.
I think that's a high-risk play, too, because all you really have to do is find one to drop just beyond the bags if they charge
runner
in
going,
like that.
and he swings, and that was a hit and run, and it's fouled out of play. So LeShock was running on the pitch, like a hit and run that was on, and Welch fouled it out of play, and so that'll make the count a ball and 2 strikes. So Mountaineers definitely trying to create a little offense there. Welch handles the bat well. We've mentioned that he's extended some at-bats during the weekend where he's fouled off some pitches and kept them, again, extending towards those counts with 2 strikes. So he's in a 1-ball, 2-strike count here, and we'll see how he opts to defend himself against Tyler Drabick. Long hold, not running, and he takes slider, strike 3. That was a great pitch from Drabick. backdoor slider that he started almost right at him and then broke inside the zone. So Welch is retired. That'll take us to the top of the order, and Peyton Idle. Idle's also had a tough day. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. He struck out in the first, popped out in the third, and grounded out in the fifth. Reached on a walk and then was picked off in the seventh. So he's had a tough day at the plate. And looks like we might have a change here, and I believe we will. So Coach Forehand is on his way to the mound, and as he does make that change, we will step aside. Again, situation is the top of the ninth inning, 1 out, 1 man on base, and Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 3-0. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. New Bison's pitcher is Gavin Grubbs, freshman, 5'10", 170 pounds, out of Canton, Georgia. Grubbs come on to make his 4th appearance of the season, 3rd appearance of the weekend. He's worked just an inning and 2/3, only given up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. He pitched on Friday night, 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 hit, had 2 strikeouts. And then he pitched yesterday, just 1/3 of an inning, facing just 1 batter, who he was able to retire via the strikeout. So Grubbs on to face Peyton Idle, the top of the order. Running at first is Alex Leshock. And he's running on the pitch. Throw down to second, and he's under the tag. So good throw there, and a nice effort by Merced to come over and pick that one up. But Leshock got under the tag. The pitch was a called ball, so it's 1 ball and no strikes on Peyton Idle. So now the Mountaineers have a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
Yeah, it looks like Merced had a chance at him, but like you said, sliding under the tag, and Merced had a little bit of time as well. So I was a little surprised to see the safe signal, but again, from our vantage point, it's a little bit far out. But so now all of a sudden, if you're the Bisons, you're in a chance where you've got to stop App State from getting insurance runs. It's already going to be hard enough to come back at the bottom of the 9th, but a run here, based on the way the Bisons have played today, makes it next to impossible.
Stays way outside. It's 2-0. So Grubbs tends to come at you with that underhand, almost underarm slot. He's got a fastball that's a 2-seamer and then a slider. And slider obviously has been his bread and butter pitch. He's been very tough on these App State hitters over the weekend. Throwing down in the bullpen is Bryce Einstein, the right-hander. There's also someone else throwing who I can't see. And that's going to miss outside, and Grubbs now goes 3-0 on Idle. So first base is open here. There is 1 out. And again, Leshock is your runner at second. App State leading 3-0, top of the 9th. And Grubbs is on as the 5th pitcher of the day for Lipscomb. That's right through there for strike 1. So 3 balls and 1 strike now to Peyton Idle. As he punches that one right through there.
I wonder if Idle thought that one was going to stay outside or not, because it looked like it curved in
Yeah,
as it was approaching the plate.
Yeah, almost everything Grubbs throws will come that way. And that one
Again.
catches the inside corner, 3-2. So good location there. Caught him at the knees on the inside corner. So Grubbs has fought back after falling behind 3-0, and now the count's full against Peyton Idle.
That's another really good breaking ball there from Grubbs.
Luke Drumheller waits on deck, and we await the payoff pitch here with one out. He just fouled that off the outside part of the plate. And we'll do it all again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, LeShock, your runner at second base. He's out there with one out. He hit by a pitch, and then he stole a base after Welch struck out. And here comes the payoff from Grubbs. Swung on and hit towards short. Runner's going to have to hold. Merced's going to throw to first, and they're going to retire Peyton Idle on that ground out. So big second out of the inning there. Runner has to hold up as the ball was hit just behind him there. And that's going to bring up Drumheller. Drumheller struck out back in the first, singled and was stranded in the third, grounded out, but did drive in a run in the fifth, and then popped out in the seventh. So 1 for 4 on the day, but does have an RBI. And it looks like Grubbs is going to stay in there to face him. 2 outs, runner at second is LeShock. Swung on and hit foul and out of play, nothing in 1. So LeShock started this inning again, hit by a pitch, stole a base. Welch went down on strikes, and then Idle just grounded out. And so 2 outs and a runner at second as Grubbs will try to hold this right here. Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 3-0 in the top of the 9th inning. That's inside. Count leaving it a ball and a strikes. Close pitch there, but he didn't get the call.
Yeah, I think he may have been trying to do kind of the same thing we saw him do just a few pitches ago, but doesn't quite make the track towards the outside that you would have wanted it to. But again, very impressive there with his work on Peyton Idle a second ago. I mean, you're down with a 3-0 count with a runner on second. That's not a good spot to be in by any means. Once again, we just see the ball just now, once again, not veering the way you would want it to go.
Yeah, that was a slider that stayed outside. It's 2-1 now on Drumheller. Young would be next if Drumheller is able to reach. That's Ike Buxton and Bryce Einstein both throwing in the Bison's bullpen.
But then again, if you throw enough breaking balls, strategically speaking, you try to get Drumheller to swing on the outside pitch as well.
Swung on and hit past the first baseman, Malik Williams. They're going to have the runner rounding third, and he's going to come to home, and the throw will go into second, and Appalachian State now leads 4-0.
Yeah, how about that? I talked about insurance runs a moment ago and how huge a run would be for App State. Already up 3-0. That was going to be a big hole for Lipscomb to come from, but a great job there by the Mountaineers. And, you know, just 2 outs and 1 insurance run. That's really all they needed in the top of the 9th. They got exactly what they needed off that one, I would say.
Yeah, you got to tip your cap there to Drumheller. Really good piece of hitting. That was a slider coming in on him. He sat on it, and he hit it past Williams at first base. And so that's the 7th base hit of the day for the Mountaineers, and second RBI on the day for Drumheller, and that'll bring up Robbie Young, and it looks like Grubbs is going to stay out there to face him. Robbie Young has 1 hit in 4 trips today, single and scored a run back in the 8th, and he looks at that one outside, and that's 1 ball and no strikes. So Drumheller running at first, 2 outs, 4-0 now, Appalachian State leading Lipscomb. Not much of a lead for Drumheller. You wouldn't expect him to be running here. The throw is going to go to first, and they're going to chase him back.
And going back to LeShock, who was on second, there was what could have been a chance for a double play a moment ago as well. They could have gotten LeShock out as well as Peyton Idle, but because of the position that the infielders were in, they just had to focus on getting Idle out at first, which they did. And it was a great play nonetheless, but little things like that can really change.
That one missed low and inside, and really unfortunate. They had him picked off of first, and instead he's going to get down to second. Did that hit him?
I'm not entirely sure what happened.
If that hit him, that would be a dead ball. So wait a minute. I think they're going to wave him back. All right, so let's unpack that. The pitch was low and inside, which I thought was ball 2. It got away a little bit from the catcher. The runner, who's Drumheller, was on his way to second, fell down, Bertolani saw that, threw the ball down towards first, where Drumheller would have been an easy out, but the ball sailed high, went over Malik Williams' head and down into right field, and that allowed Drumheller to advance to second. So the net result was Drumheller is at second, and Young is still at home plate, and I believe he was trying to campaign that he had been hit, but he is not going to win that appeal. After the umpires confer, they're going to say, nope, it was a ball, but it didn't hit you. So 2 balls, no strikes is the count on Robbie Young. Drumheller is going to go down to second, and I think that will be an error on that play, the third Bison's error on the day.
And believe it or not, both teams actually tied for 3 errors. It's just better hitting from App State and great outfield play and pitching.
So time is called here, and looks like the Bisons are going to elect to put him on base. I believe that's going to be an intentional walk that he will get. And so Young will go down to first, and that'll bring up Kendall McGowan now to bat with 2 outs and 2 on.
Yeah, that's strict strategy late in the game when you're desperate and trying to, keep things moving. You have 2 outs, you get a runner on first and second, but that's your best hitter right there, Robbie Young.
Well, and McGowan has been hot today. He had a single back in the first. He doubled and scored a run in the fourth, and then he flew out in the 6th and grounded out in the 8th. So he's 2 for 4 and has scored a run on the day. He bats here and swings through the slider, 0-1. So Young, your runner at first, Drumheller at second. 1 run already home this inning. On the base hit off the bat of Drumheller. Top of the 9th, Appalachian State leading Lipscomb 4-0. And he swings through that slider, and it's 0-2. A lot of break on that ball. We have the opportunity from our vantage point to see that one almost started right at him and curved over the plate. So a lot of movement on the pitch, and he swung through it. So Grubbs has McGowan in a no-ball, 2-strike hole, 2 outs, 2 men on, top of the 9th, Appalachian State 4 and Lipscomb 0. And that's a slider that misses outside, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Again, these 2 teams have played 3 close ball games. Friday night, 9-5 win by App State in 11 innings, and Lipscomb won 4-2 yesterday. So the 3rd game with these 2 teams that have been very evenly matched. So a good out-of-conference series for both clubs. Here comes the 1-2 from Grubbs. Swung on and foul back out of play, then like a fastball, and that'll keep the count at a ball and 2 strikes. Philip Cole would be next if McGowan is able to extend the inning. And the Bisons have a couple of guys in the bullpen still working, Buxton and Einstein. And that one's going to get behind him and get all the way back to the screen. Slider that just didn't break at all. So both runners will move up 90 feet. Drumheller will go to second, and Young will go to, Drumheller to third. Young will go to second on the wild pitch. And the count's going to be 2-2 on Kendall McGowan. I got to say, Spencer, if that one had curved across the plate, it would be worth a photograph because it started behind it, but it just never had the break to it that that slider has had, and it didn't really have a chance for the catcher Bertolani, so that's going to go down as a wild pitch. And here comes the 2-2 with 2 outs. And he swings through it, strike 3. So we got him on the slider. But the Mountaineers are able to add to their lead. They pick up 1 run on 1 hit. There was 1 Bison error. They did leave 2 on base. They've stranded 9 today. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last chance for the Bisons. Appalachian State is leading 4-0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Last chance for the Bisons, and it'll be in the person of Graves, Houghton, and Moore to face the right-hander Andrew Terrell. Terrell came on and pitched very effectively in the 8th inning, and he'll try to close this one out for Coach Kermit Smith and the App State Mountaineers. Terrell in that last inning gave up 1 hit, no walks, no strikeouts, but he kept the Bisons off the board, as have all of the App State pitchers today. He's the 5th arm out there, and they've combined on this shutout, limiting the Bisons to just 4 hits so far. David Graves will start things off. He has struck out, reached on a walk, and fly out. He did hit the ball hard last time into center field, but was retired on that fly ball. So he'll lead things off for the Bisons here in the 9th, and he looks at a strike right through there. No balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, I thought about that 1-2 with the check swing. Could have been just a bit of touch inside to even get a good bat on that one, so it may have been wiser to let it fly by, but
swung on and hit right back up the middle. It looks like it ricochets off of the pitcher and past the shortstop Welch. So Graves is going to be on with a base hit. I think that's got to be a base hit all around. That ball was definitely going to get into center field. It looked like it deflected a bit off of the pitcher Terrell's foot or something, and he redirected it toward Welch, and Welch just didn't react to it and let it get past him. So got to be a base hit, and I believe they have scored it as such, and that'll be the 5th Bison's base hit on the day, and a first for David Graves. So he's on first base, and that'll bring up Maddox Houghton. Maddox has walked twice and tripled, so he's had a solid day at the plate. Last time he was up, he hit the ball very hard, very deep to left center field, went off the wall, but unfortunately the Bisons could not bring him around as he was stranded at third base. So Graves, your runner at first. Houghton batting now. And he looks at a slider right through there, strike 1. Graves with no stolen bases on the season. And again, you wouldn't expect to see much in the way of a run game here, given the situation. We await the 0-1 from Terrell. And that's a slider that stays high, and it'll be a ball and a strike.
The Bisons definitely haven't been successfully attacking the center of the dime of the day. Every time it goes past the pitcher's mound, it usually chops over and is picked up and, thrown to first, or there's a double play. But that's exactly what they needed, a lucky ricochet off of either Terrell's foot or the mound.
Fastball to the outside corner. Nice spot for that pitch. That was a really well-executed pitch. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Houghton. There's just not much you can do as a hitter. He really hit the black there with that fastball. And impressive outing from Terrell. Again, he played as a designated hitter in both, or he played right field Friday night, was a designated hitter yesterday, designated hitter today, and now coming on the mound. So he's done a little bit of everything for the Mountaineers this weekend. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Maddox Houghton. That's going to stay high, and it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. Friday night, Terrell was in right field. He went 2 for 5, scored a run, and had an RBI. And then his designated hitter on Saturday, he was 0 for 3. But his most important work of the weekend is right now on the mound, and he's got a 2-2 count on Maddox Houghton. Swung on and hit foul and out of play. That'll keep the count at 2-2. At the plate today, Terrell's 0 for 2. He came in and entered the game in the 6th inning. So rare two-way player. You don't see a lot of guys still in college baseball who are doing that two-way playing, but Terrell is one of them and certainly has done an excellent job here for the Mountaineers. 2 balls, 2 strikes due to Maddox Houghton. And that's a slider that's going to stay inside, and that'll run the count full 3-2. Don't see any activity in the bullpen for Appalachian State, so I believe they're going to put it in the hands of Andrew Terrell here. Crowd is alive, dugout's alive. We're getting some enthusiasm, trying to inject some life into the Bison, see if they got a rally in them here in the bottom of the 9th. Here comes the payoff pitch to Maddox Houghton. Swung on and hit into right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Graves is going to round second and hold there. And back-to-back singles to start the bottom of the 9th.
Just what the doctor ordered. Is it a little bit too late? Who knows? But you have no outs. You got runners on first and second. Once again, you have to capitalize on these opportunities. The Bisons have had some in the last few innings and haven't been able to do so. So now you got Brian Moore. Then you get your 1, 2, and 3 hitter if you can get to them. So you're not in a bad spot right now.
Brian Moore bats for the 4th time today. He has flied out to center, popped out on a bunt attempt and struck out, so he's 0 for 3 on the day. Brian came in batting .250, 1 home run and 9 RBI. So Brian would love to keep this inning alive for the Bisons as they have 2 hits in the inning. Good piece of hitting there from Houghton. He sat on that one and just took it to the right side. And so the Bisons trying to rally here in the bottom of the 9th against Andrew Terrell.
Yeah, I'll put it nicely, but that pop-out bunt in the 5th certainly was not pretty.
That's a ball high, and that's going to make the count 1 ball and no strikes. Double play depth up the middle here for the Mountaineers. Outfield is very deep and straight away, as you'd expect. They don't want to let anything fall behind them. They'll be willing to concede something in front at this point. Got David Graves running at second and Maddox Houghton running at first. Good speed at first. Neither of them being held particularly closely. Fastball misses outside. That's 2-0. Bisons had their chances on Friday night. They got a runner to third base, couldn't push him in. They got the bases loaded in the 10th and couldn't score. So a little bit of frustration this weekend in these late inning situations. But they're threatening here with 2 on, nobody out, and a 2-0 pitch to Brian Moore. And he looks right a fastball right through there. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, Moore hasn't seemed too privy to swing at this at-bat as of yet. So wise decision to just throw that one through the zone for Terrell, but
probably the most telling statistic of the day, Spencer, 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position for Lipscomb today. That's what's really hurt them. But here comes a 2-1 to Moore, and he swings and taps this one into foul territory, and the catcher is going to glove it going towards the dugout. So really athletic play there from Cross.
Man, Moore just can't catch a break whenever the ball bounces off the top of his bat.
That's the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Tiger Borum. Borum's 0 for 3 on the day. He's popped out to shallow left field twice, struck out and grounded out to shortstop. So 0 for 4 on the day is Tiger Borum. But yeah, now 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position are the Bisons. App State only 2 for 13, but they've made that count.
Now you got Tiger Borum coming out. He's had a quiet afternoon as well. 0 for 4 today. Grounded out his last time around. And that ground out came at a bad time as well. That was with a runner in scoring position, Maddox Houghton, who had just hit the triple in the bottom of the 7th.
That's a fastball right through there for strike 1. So he starts him off with a fastball right in the heart of the plate. He didn't try to beat around the bush that time. He went straight at him. And he gets ahead in the count. No balls and 1 strike. Again, Graves singled to start the inning. Houghton followed that with a single, and Moore fouled out to the catcher. And so we await a no ball, 1 strike pitch to Tiger Borum with 1 out. Inside and called a strike. He caught that inside corner of the plate, 0-2. And so, again, tip your cap to Terrell. He came on, gave up 2 base hits, but then he got Moore to pop out, and he's quickly gotten ahead of Borum. And so finding a bit of rhythm out there on the mound, which pitchers like to do when they're getting those calls. Really live fastball and also a good slider that we're seeing from Terrell here. And he's going to bring an 0-2 pitch to Tiger Borum. And it's a slider hit foul, and that'll keep the count at 0-2. Robbie Merced waits on deck for the Bisons. Hits become a bit more even now. 7 hits for the Mountaineers, 6 for the Bisons. But as you mentioned, Spencer, the Bisons just haven't been able to get that clutch hit today in a key situation. So got a key situation here. It's no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners on first and second. And the pitch is on the way to Borum. Just missed. Must have been high.
Yeah,
like an off-speed pitch there at 1-2.
First glance, I thought that looked like that went through. But again, not the best vantage point. You're on a bit of an angle, both up and to the side from the press box up here, but I know Borum definitely is not complaining.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Graves your runner at second, Houghton running at first. Swung on and hit. Base hit into right center field. That's going to get down. They're going to wave Graves around third. Houghton's going to have to stop at second. And Borum is going to get the first run of the day with an RBI single.
And that's what Borum has been waiting for all game long. Really, the whole team's been waiting for a hit with runners in scoring position. I think they heard you talking about that up here, but absolutely beautiful, beautiful bat there from Tiger Borum, just going right of center and dropping it into the gap. We've seen a few hits go into the gap in recent times for the Bisons, and they're now tied with App State at 7 hits as well. So still got to get 3 runs now here. If you're paying attention to the scoreboard, you already know that, but it's certainly not out of the question with just 1 out and runners already on first and second.
Tying run standing at the plate in the person of Robbie Merced. Robbie's 0 for 4 on the day. He would love to have a chance to do something about that here. 3rd hit of the inning for the Bisons, 3 singles. Swung on and hit foul and out of play to the right side. Terrell's now thrown 34 pitches in his 1 1/3 innings. Again, first time he's thrown this weekend, although he has played, as we mentioned, in right field on Friday night and is designated hitter on Saturday's game. There is a little bit of activity down in the App State bullpen. Again, we can't get a number from our vantage point, but we'll keep tracking that for you. And it'll be an 0-1 pitch to Robbie Merced. Swung on and hit foul. That was a slider, and he gets ahead of him. No balls, 2 strikes. Good piece of hitting by Tiger Borum there. He was down in the count. 2 strikes, and he turned and laced that one out into right field and drove the run in. First run of the day for the Bisons. App State leading 4-1, bottom of the 9th. 1 out, and Lipscomb trying to fight back in this game 3 of a 3-game series. Each team has won 1 so far. And it's a no ball, 2 strike count on Robbie Merced. Slider stays down low. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Nice job there by Cross to block that one up. It's become really, really overcast here. We had a little sunshine earlier. No sunshine now. Lights are not on. We've been playing in the 9th inning here with App State clinging to a 4-1 lead, and Merced is facing a 1 ball, 2 strike count from Andrew Terrell.
I think we've been blessed to avoid some rain as well.
Called strike 3. Again, fastball over the outside corner, and that is a big second out of the inning as Merced is called out on strikes. And the Bison's last chance will come down to the person of Malik Williams. Malik singled back in the 1st inning and then has struck out and reached twice on an error. So he's been on base 3 times, only has 1 hit to show for it, and he is the last hope for Lipscomb. 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 9th. Appalachian State 4 and Lipscomb 1. Swings and hits this one toward the right center field gap. That's going to get all the way to the wall. They're going to bring a runner around third, and here comes, second runner's going to come to third as well, as Malik Williams has just driven in 2, and the Bisons have cut the lead to 4-3. Borum came all the way around from first, running with 2 outs and scored. Houghton crossed the plate as well, and Malik Williams with a 2 RBI double, and things are getting interesting, Spencer.
Yes, they absolutely are, and your only wish at this point is that you didn't have 2 outs, but that being said, you've got Chris Bachelor, who's experienced, who knows how to play good baseball, and did make it to first base twice today, once on a walk, and the other time I think it was on a hit back in the 8th inning, but not a bad position to be in at all. Just the biggest thing is see if you can get another hit like that, where you drop it into right field or center field or left field, because if anything is hit shorter than that, you're much more liable for a throw to first, and that's all you need to end the game.
4th hit of the inning for the Bisons is a double off the bat of Malik Williams, and Carson Wright is going to go in and pinch run for Malik at second base. Carson, the 5'10", 180-pound junior out of Knoxville, Tennessee. So he's going to be the runner at second, and it looks like we're going to have a mound visit. So let's recap the inning for you here. It all started with David Graves, who singled back up the middle, a ball that deflected off the pitcher and got past the shortstop. Maddox Houghton followed that up with a single to right field. Brian Moore popped out to the catcher. Tiger Borum singled to right field on a 2-strike swing. Robbie Merced was called out for the second out of the inning, and then Malik Williams just doubled off the right center field wall and drove in 2. So 3 runs in the inning for the Bisons. They've got 4 hits, and the tying run is out at second base. That's in the person of Carson Wright, who is pinch running for Malik Williams.
And here's the thing, too. Chris Bachelor, team leader in home runs. Now, it's only 5, and you've already played a good number of games this season, but he does have the ability to hit a dinger. One here would obviously win the game.
Bachelor 1 for 3 on the day with a walk, so he's been on base twice, and he's grounded out in a fielder's choice and fouled out to the first baseman. So Bachelor bats with 2 outs in the tying run at second. And Slider catches the outside corner. Boy, tough pitch there. Really put that on the black. Really well executed pitch by Andrew Terrell. And he gets ahead of Chris Bachelor. No balls and 1 strike.
And we see Carson Wright, the pinch runner there, standing about 10 feet away from second base.
Yeah, I think he would score easily on a base hit. The outfield is very deep here. So anything that gets through the infield is going to tie the game. Here comes the 0-1. Same spot with a fastball. No ball and 2 strikes. So, again, tip your cap to Terrell. He has thrown 2 outstanding pitches in a really tough location that very, very tough for a hitter to do much with out there.
Yeah, Bachelor's got to lock in and watch out now. See if he tries to go with the same outside pitch again or go for another maneuver.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go off the plate just a little further. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Terrell to Bachelor. Swung on and hit towards third base. Gloved. Throw on to first. And that'll do it. So Terrell gets the job done and retires Bachelor on that ground out to third base. And that will strand the winning runner out at second base in the person of Carson Wright. He becomes the 10th runner stranded on the day for the Bison. So Appalachian State's going to walk out of here with a 4-3 win. Again, 3 really good ball games between these 2 teams over the course of the weekend. An extra inning affair on Friday night and a 4-2 game yesterday and a 1-run game today. So 2 well-matched teams who've played really well against each other. And Appalachian State will go home winning 2 of 3 on the weekend. The final line score in today's game, 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for App State, 3 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors for the Bisons. I believe the winning pitcher will be Noah Hall, whose record will go to 6-0 on the season. And the losing pitcher, I believe, will be Patrick Williams. We'll double check on that as we move through the post game here. The time of the game is 3 hours and 31 minutes. Now let's do a brief recap. Neither team scored until the 4th inning. App State got on the board. They got a double off the bat of McGowan. He advanced on a couple ground balls and then scored on the single off the bat of Trent Lewis. App State went back to work in the 5th inning. Bailey Welch was hit by a pitch, stole a base, moved over on a ground ball off the bat of Peyton Idle, and then scored on an RBI ground out from Luke Drumheller. That made it 2-0, and it remained right there until the 8th inning when App State again scored. They had a leadoff single from Robbie Young after a ground out and an error. Young was driven in off a single off the bat of Hayden Cross for the 3rd run of the game. And then App State added an insurance run in the top of the 9th. LeShock reached on a hit by pitch after a strikeout. There was a ground out that moved him around, and then there was an RBI single off the bat of Drumheller. So again, Drumheller with 2 RBIs on the day drove in 2 of the 4 runs. It was 4-0, but Lipscomb wouldn't go quietly in the bottom of the 9th inning. Consecutive base hits off the bat of David Graves and Maddox Houghton put 2 runners on. Brian Moore was retired, and then a base hit off the bat of Tiger Borum to drive in a run. Robbie Merced was retired on a strikeout, and then Malik Williams doubled off the right field wall, and that drove in 2 more to make it 4-3. But with the winning or the tying run on second base, Chris Bachelor was retired via the ground out to end the game. And the save will go to Andrew Terrell, who pitched very effectively at the end for the Mountaineers. So again, the winning pitcher will be Noah Hall, and the losing pitcher will be Patrick Williams, who will fall to 0-2 on the season. Andrew Terrell will pick up his 2nd save on the season. Reminder, fans, that our next action for Lipscomb baseball will be on Wednesday, the 21st of April. The Bisons will host crosstown rival Belmont in the Battle of the Boulevard. The teams have split 2 games earlier in the season. They'll play this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. That game will be broadcast on ESPN+, so we invite you to be with us for that game. If there is any change in game times, you can always stay updated. Follow Lipscomb Bison Baseball on Twitter or go to lipscombsports.com to stay up to date. Our thanks today to Lipscomb Athletic Director Philip Hutchison, to Associate Athletic Director Brent McMillan, Director of Sports Communications Kirk Downs, and Baseball Communications Director Hannah Jo Riley. Also want to thank our technical engineer Tanner Hibbs. And a special word of thanks to my co-host Spencer Bohm. Spencer, a pleasure working with you as always. And I, again, want to extend early congratulations to you for your upcoming graduation here in a couple weeks. I think that's an outstanding achievement, so congrats on that.
Appreciate you, as always.
All right, folks, that'll do it from this time. Again, final score, Appalachian State 4 and Lipscomb 3. This is Doc Allen saying thanks for your time this time. And until next time, so long.